Show like this. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA Deeper Dive presented by PrizePicks. I'm Dave Loughran. On the Twitters, Alofi_D, LOUGHY_D. Joined by Adam Scherer at Ship My Money DFS. What's going on, man? How you feeling today?
Pretty good. But so you and I normally talk about how, like, when we do a show together in the morning and then we do a show together at night, it's nice to get a bunch of injury news that we didn't expect because it makes the show different. Today, I actually took the time during the day to get my NBA stuff set up, ready to go. I was like, all right, I'll make sure that the show will at least be a little bit different because I'll already have an idea of what I'm doing lineup wise, all of that. And then the Celtics rule out two of their starters, and that was all useless.
Yeah, like the Marcus Smart thing is one thing because it was possible that it was going to happen, but the Al Horford news is crazy. So Al Horford out in health and safety protocol. Who knew that was a thing anymore?
Right.
And Marcus Smart, who was questionable. What's up?
Paul George and the Clippers did.
That is true. Booker, not so distant past either. But you would agree that it's few and far between at this point.
Yeah, I mean, now it's guys that are actually sick.
Yeah, Steve Kerr too, right? Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Kerr missed a couple of games.
But here we are, and yeah, you've got Arcatel said I did the same shit, Adam, and started drinking. I wish I could.
Malakar said I'm still doing baseball lineups. Me too.
Yeah, so that's fine. We got 2 hours until lock, so we can make this work. At least we got this news sooner than later, which is helpful. But live before lock comes up after this. Those guys will help carry you up until this 8:30 p.m. Eastern lock time today. That's Eric Lindquist and Greg Ehrenberg hanging with you. They're going a half hour after lock too, going to sweat those games and hang out. But with Boston now, this money line was plus 105 when it opened. Then it was plus 125. And who knows if that was just, getting a lot of money on the Heat. It's possible. I didn't check. Or did it have something to do with, people suspecting that we'd have some absences, at least Marcus Smart. Now it's at plus 165. They're 4.5 point dogs. The total hasn't moved much. It was already at 203. It stayed the same. But man, when you look at Marcus Smart being out, there's a showdown slate too, where you're talking about a very little value if these guys were all active. But now you take Smart and Horford off the floor, and you've got a slate where it went from, God, I don't know if I can, but it's not going to be fun playing Tatum at captain because it means I'm going to have to punt some guys whose minutes are super volatile or very little to begin with. But now you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah, it opened up a lot of value. And like you said, like this morning, we're talking about, Dwayne Dedmon getting like 25% ownership, Caleb Martin getting 14%. I made the point that Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson both suck and one shouldn't be twice the ownership of the other. A lot of that stuff's not really going to matter now, though, because not only do you get like Derek White's price tag has already come up. He's at 5,200. You have Grant Williams up to 5K, but like Peyton Pritchard was somebody that we talked about not getting any ownership today and being like a low owned punt flyer type play in tournaments. Now I assume he's going to get a bunch of ownership. The one thing, and like now you have Daniel Tice probably in the rotation at 1,800 as well. So it just opens up a bit more.
You got props out there for Peyton Pritchard now too. So interesting. We got OddsShop where you can always check out where we've got those guys projected. Everything over there is completely free. When was our last NBA ownership update for this Showdown slate? Let me check. 12 minutes ago. That's free today too. You want to dive into that. NBA ownership projections. They are entirely free today. Same with MLB main slate ownership projections. Still got a few minutes before that locks. PGA golfer projections are free today for Thursday. And of course, NHL player rankings, all of that entirely free if you want to follow along with us. So let's take a look at Boston first. The first things first, let's deal with Marcus Smart. Then we'll deal with the Al Horford situation in the front court. Peyton Pritchard, obviously, the biggest beneficiary when you're just looking at salary. Derek White was a guy that you and I both said was kind of in that no man's land from a salary standpoint this morning. Now it looks a little bit more enticing when you figure his minutes should come up considerably. And I know that Marcus Smart did miss some games prior, and Derek White's minutes were okay. I think he played like 24 in one of them, or maybe it was 28. 28 minutes. Shot 0 for 6. He was just dreadful across the board. But he's already been seeing more minutes with Marcus Smart in to close out that Milwaukee series.
Yeah. For White, I think that the issue you're going to run into here, I mean, he's still not a great point per minute guy, but there's plenty of minutes available for him now because not only do you have the Marcus Smart minutes opening up, but you have all of those Horford minutes, which means more minutes for Grant Williams. It means, moving guys down a position. Robert Williams, I don't know how many minutes he'll play. They said he's not on a minutes restriction, but I find that pretty difficult to believe. So, I think that it really solidifies those minutes for Derek White to where even though he's not a great point per minute guy and he's not going to be asked to do a lot offensively, he's still going to project as a good value now, whereas this morning he was kind of in no man's land.
Oh, shit, I almost forgot. Hit that thumbs up. We got 800 people in here already. We're less than 7 minutes into the show. 86 out of 800. Not a terrible ratio, but we could do better. I wouldn't ask you if it didn't help us. Hit that thumbs up. I mean, maybe 200 here. That would be impressive. And for those of you that have forgot, it only takes a single second. You can go back to whatever you were doing before that. Doesn't matter to me. And if you want, subscribe to the channel and hit that join down below. If you want to join the Awesemo team here, get the free super chats each month, the custom emojis, those sweet badges. And we'll always prioritize your questions along with our premium Discord members as well. All right, let's dive into Peyton Pritchard here and really, really dig deep. Is there at this point a better value option than Peyton Pritchard?
I don't really think so. Like Miami, assuming, half their team's questionable right now, but assuming that those guys are all going to be in because they usually are, with the exception of Lowry, who we know is out, it's not like there's anything really on that side that looks great. You're talking about Dwayne Dedmon probably playing around 10 minutes, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson probably playing 10 or less apiece. So on the Boston side, even though he is more expensive, I think it's probably Pritchard at 3,600. He benefits too, I think, from Horford being out for the same reasons that I was saying. I think Derek White's minutes are even more secure. If Horford's in and Robert Williams is in, you could, conceivably get, let's say, 24 minutes from Robert Williams. Horford still plays 38 with 14 of them coming at the 4. Grant Williams still plays 30. So then all of Jason Tatum is at the 3 and Jaylen Brown's playing a bunch at the 2 and Pritchard still plays like 16 to 18 minutes. But with Horford being out, unless Daniel Tice is going to go out there and play a ton of minutes and Robert Williams is going to play a lot, you just have to get more. There have to be more guard minutes available as a result of guys moving down a position. So it makes me think that you're probably getting 20 plus from Peyton Pritchard.
So what if you have Derek White starting along obviously with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, and then I guess Robert Williams? Like,
yeah, I'm
right?
Curious what the starting lineup's going to be. I kind of think it might be Tice.
I think it could be Tice. It doesn't mean that he plays a ton of minutes, but it goes back to your original point. Like Grant Williams is already playing a lot of minutes, and Horford's averaging 40 minutes per game last series.
And so like, this is the difficult thing for me right now. We have Robert Williams projected for 30 minutes. I have such a difficult time thinking that happens because I don't believe this no minutes limit thing.
All right, so I guess we can look at it this way. He's dealing with soreness, right? Knee soreness.
Knee soreness, yeah.
Clearly
that caused him to miss 3 playoff games.
Yes.
And then sit out of another one that, like you said earlier, was competitive until halftime.
Right. So it might seem like knee soreness is minor. He's been sore enough to keep him out of basketball games. He hasn't played in 10 days, first of all. So and hold on. And even if he does, which he's going to play, like he's going to play, he hasn't played more than 20. He's played 25, 23, 22, 16, 14 minutes in the postseason. Like he hasn't eclipsed 25 minutes once.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, and somebody said it in chat, and he did say it. Woj said that Williams has been practicing and should be able to play significant minutes. I just have such a hard time thinking that he just walks back out there and plays 30 plus.
What does significant minutes mean?
Right. I have no idea.
Now, hold on. Let me just back up for a second. Just because Robert Williams might not get 30 minutes doesn't mean he's not a fantastic value option.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thinking about it more from the standpoint of the value.
Where the rest of the minutes go.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay.
I mean, Williams is 4,800. If you give him 24 minutes, he's going to look fine. But
exactly. On a showdown side.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this then. Let's back up for a second and let's lock in the starters. We know like Grant Williams, Tatum, Brown, Derek White. Like those 4, unless something wild happened, then it's like Pritchard over White. But I would expect White to start. You agree, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say Tice starts. How many minutes are you giving him and Williams? Are you going 24-24? Are you going do we see just more small lineups? This is one of those Miami teams though that you have to match up. You have to be worried about matchups when you're facing Miami.
Right. But what you could also see potentially is, so let's say Tice starts and let's say Tice plays 20 minutes, Williams plays 24. You give Grant Williams the other 4. And then instead of Dwayne Dedmon, Miami just has PJ Tucker at the 5 for those 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Or they just,
but why would you,
or they just go Grant Williams and Dedmon for 4 minutes. Like it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I guess not. But wouldn't you want to exploit those matchups wouldn't you want to exploit that when they go small and get Bam on? I mean, it's obviously going to be a chess match between.
Well, we're talking about Dwayne Dedmon minutes, not Bam minutes.
I know, and I'm saying it'd be interesting to see if Spoelstra tries to counter that with just putting out a behemoth of a lineup, not necessarily size, but his best lineup when Boston has to do. Losing Al Horford is really huge in this game. Obviously losing Smart is huge, but what do you think are the chances that Tyson Williams in some form combine for 48 minutes?
Pretty low.
Okay. I agree. I would think they combine for maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah. I was thinking like 40 to 44.
And who did you say you'd throw at the 5? Otherwise, just put Grant Williams at the 5 and then just go go small elsewhere.
Yeah, because I mean that's still a solid lineup for them. Like Horford being out is bad, like you said. But talking about White, what would it be? White, Brown, Tatum, Grant Williams, and then Pritchard, I guess. Naismith, whoever.
Does this affect anybody else significantly for you in Boston that we haven't talked about?
I mean, it makes me think Grant Williams is going to play a ton, but at his price tag, I'm still not super excited about that anyway. I think the biggest impacts are on Pritchard and Tice and White, obviously. Also, I mean, you could throw Luke Cornett out there for a handful of minutes.
Has he seen a single minute this postseason?
Well, no, but Horford's been playing all of them.
I know. I'm just wondering, is he, okay. All of the Miami news coming in, they're of course all playing. So that's no surprise.
And Cornette's played 5 minutes, is supposed to.
Oh, he did, huh?
I mean, garbage time, I'm sure, but
Yeah, I would assume so.
10 possessions.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good.
But my point just being that it's kind of, I think one way or the other, it's unlikely you get 48 minutes combined from Tice and Williams. Whether that's Grant Williams, whether that's Luke Cornette for a handful of minutes, whatever it might be.
And it doesn't really matter if Robert Williams plays 24th or excuse me. Obviously, it matters that he plays 24 or 30, but he's still going to be popping up everywhere. Like, you're still going to be you're going to be getting to as much Robert Williams as possible, regardless, just given Horford's 40 minutes being voided from this lineup. Now, if you're just if we're talking about it from a lineup construction standpoint, showdown standpoint, or over on Fanduel, and we're not, forget about the actual rotation. Now we worked our way through some of that. How easy is it to get to somebody like Jason Tatum or Jimmy Butler in the captain spot? Not to say it wasn't before, but what does it do for us now, just in terms of overall builds? And how much, I don't know if you've made NBA lineups yet, because I know you still had MLB. You have to imagine there's going to be some very, 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 very popular lineups now, maybe even more than before.
Yeah, because it was already not that difficult to get to Tatum and Butler, like you said. It just meant using, Dedmon / Martin or something like that, and, punting those spots. For me, before the news, my highest projected lineup was with Bam at captain, because it let me get Brown, Butler, Tatum, and I just had to punt in one spot with I think Caleb Martin. But now it's certainly going to be easier, just because you do have more value that opened up. You have Tice at 1,800, you have Pritchard at 3,600. So I do think that it certainly makes it easier to get to those guys.
And you obviously have no problem playing Tice and Williams together, given that we only have one game here.
Yeah, there's not any rules I'm setting.
No. My God, I just threw something together real quick to see how easy it would be. First of all, it only has one Miami player, but you can make some adjustments there. Yeah, you can essentially do whatever you want to do in this one, save for playing, Tatum McCatton plus Butler, Jaylen Brown, and Bam Adebayo all in the same lineup, without having any of Williams and Tice or Pritchard. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of that now. With Jaylen Brown, he is, how much cheaper is he? Because you had mentioned this on, maybe it was Josh that mentioned this on Sunday, that Jaylen Brown was cheap enough, or that much cheaper than Jason Tatum, to where he would rather have just gotten there because the pricing discount was significant enough. Are you fine, going Jaylen Brown over Jason Tatum in a lot of captain spots, just given the upside we've seen with Jaylen Brown all playoffs?
Yeah, I still think that's fine. Tatum is certainly the guy that you would prefer to get to if you can. He's likely to have the higher usage rate. You and I talked about it this morning, that he did see a nice bounce back in his usage rate later, towards the end of the last series against Milwaukee. But just in terms of upside and the difference in price, you're talking about almost a $3,000 difference from Tatum to Brown. So, you prefer Tatum, but I'm not going to just nuke my lineup to get from Brown to Tatum, when I think Brown is still a very, very good option.
What about once you start getting to the rest of Boston, where you have Tatum, you have Brown, obvious spots that you can get to, no problem. No Al Horford, no Marcus Smart. Then it's pretty much just all value, right? Like Derek White, Grant Williams. Can we plug Grant? Is it necessary? But or is it? Does it make sense from a maybe just being contrarian standpoint to say, all right, let me throw some Grant Williams into captain. Maybe this, what happens if Grant Williams plays 44 minutes tonight? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that this guy, I won't say plays the whole game, obviously, but Williams played 39 minutes last time out. He attempted 18 threes in that win against the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 7. And he didn't play the final, 2 minutes of the game because of a blowout. Final 2 minutes of that game because of a blowout. So he was pacing 41 minutes. He would have played all but 30 seconds in the second half. I know that he is never exciting as a player, but Does this end up being one of those games where Grant Williams' shot volume stays up and you can get him at very, very minimal ownership in a captain spot, and he plays
I think the
44
best
minutes?
argument in favor or for Grant Williams would just be the playing time, like you're saying. Not that you expect like his usage to still be there. He's certainly not shooting 18 times today, I wouldn't think. But while he's not a very good point per minute guy, he is still around the 0.7 fantasy point per minute player. And, even if you subtract a little bit for this matchup and the slow pace, if he were to go out there and play 38, 40 minutes, and he certainly could because he can defend multiple positions, he is a good 3-point shooter. So he does a lot of things that Boston needs and can soak up vacated minutes, at a variety of positions. So, if he gets to 40 minutes and you just assume he produces at an average rate, you're still talking something like, 24, 25 fantasy points.
Do you think there's a lot of value in leaving money on the table on a slate like this?
It's not something I'm going out of my way to do. Like, I personally don't worry too much about duplicating lineups. I factor in ownership and everything like always, but I'm not going in there just saying, oh yeah, I'm leaving $1,000 on the table everywhere. I think that's a good way to just get destroyed almost slates to where it can kind of just destroy your bankroll. So I'm not going out of my way to do it, but I'm not setting like a salary floor either.
Okay. Yeah, and you're not setting any like minimum salary on Fantasy Cruncher too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, all my lineups have to spend $49K or whatever. It's going to work out that way a lot of the time, but.
All right. Any other value that we look at? Oh, actually, before we do, because we got a lot to talk about still with this game. Just so much insanity going on with Al Horford and Marcus Smart being out. For those of you that, and thanks for getting us to 200 likes. We're north of that. 1,200 people watching for a 1-game slate. You gotta love it. But yeah, for you, those of you just joining, no Marcus Smart, no Al Horford, and of course, if you didn't know, PrizePicks. Well, they're basically just giving away the farm. So are we. If you sign up at PrizePicks, daily prop-based contest, very cool format. You're making 5-player lineups. You're taking the over or the under on either side. There's no juice. And unlike your traditional parlays at other books, if you hit 4 of 5, you still make two times your money. You get 3 of 5, you still make some money back. Over at prizepicks.com, or you can download it in the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you use the promo code Awesemo when you sign up and deposit as a first-time user, they will match your deposit up to $100 first match deposit bonus using the promo code Awesemo with their daily prop-based contest for not just basketball, but any sport you can think of is over there, and you can mix them all together. Cool stuff. However, you also get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. That's 30 free days, $90 value, everything we have on the site, every single tool, from the boom bust tool to the top stacks tool. I'll get into that in a second, but all of that is free for the entire month. No strings attached whatsoever. All you got to do is sign up using the link in the description, or the one that Jordan is about to throw in the chat right now. Links in the description or the one in chat. You have to use that, but you'll get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Every sport, every single tool that we have, we'll hit you up in like 24 to 48 hours after you redeem that free month. And we also have free PrizePicks NBA prop tool over at Awesemo if you're already signed up there. So check it out, prizepicks.com, or download it in the App Store or the Google Play Store, and join the fun. All right. Who else is viable to get minutes today for Boston that we haven't talked about that might be a worthy candidate that could sneak into the rotation, if anybody?
Naismith / Cornette would be the two guys that I think, maybe see a few minutes. Naismith probably has the path to more minutes potentially, just because he is a wing, and I think it's more likely that you just see. I think there's more ways, I guess, for minutes to open up for him, but neither one's somebody that I would be going on my way to get to. But they're in the same category as Duncan Robinson and Caleb Martin.
And how many minutes are you giving to Derek White?
36, probably.
36. Okay.
We have him right now at 34. Yeah, it's same boat.
Let me see our ownership projections if we're updated here. Yeah, 4 minutes ago. Just seeing where everybody's coming in at now that we got the update with Al Horford out of it. Grant Williams, and you, again, ownership projections are totally free. Grant Williams, 36%. You owe me after this show, by the way. Grant Williams, 100%, 36%. Robert Williams at 45%. Jaylen Brown at 66, and Tatum at 77, 23% in the captain. So him and Jimmy Butler are about 46% in the captain spot. Jimmy's at 23% there. And then they're 55 and 50% in the utility spot. So it's pretty obvious that all of these high-end players, Tatum, Butler, Brown, Adebayo, are 1, 2, 3, and 4 in actual salary, and they're 1, 2, 3, and 4 in ownership today. It just speaks to how much value is available to us.
Yeah, exactly. It just really changed things. Like they were going to be popular anyway, but now just getting even more. And the thing that kind of stands out is, I had mentioned that in my top projected lineup before this news, Bam Adebayo was my captain. Now he's the 4th highest owned captain, and it's not even close. He's getting half the ownership of Jaylen Brown, who's the 3rd highest owned guy behind Butler and Jason Tatum. So, yeah, it just clearly makes it really easy to get to those guys. Looking at the ownership towards the bottom, the same thing, actually, that kind of went away. The Caleb Martin versus Duncan Robinson thing. Now you have Martin at 5%, Robinson at 3%, Naismith at 6%. I think all of those are fine. Maybe just flipping them makes some sense, but it's not like it's a big deal there. All 3 guys suck, and if one of them does well, congratulations, you got lucky, you ran good. You need to do that to win tournaments. But yeah, there's not. It's tough to find anything like truly sneaky at the bottom, because I think that the guys that aren't getting much ownership don't really deserve it.
Are there any guys that are getting ownership right now because Williams they're all going to be relatively popular, right? Like, let me see, Tatum, Brown, Williams, White, and then Grant Williams. Are there any of these guys that are pulling a lot of ownership that you look at and you go, you know what, I get it, but this is someone that I'd rather be underweight on today? And by the way, Peyton Pritchard, we have him at only 29% right now, and 3%. Obviously, we don't expect him to project well, in the captain spot, but 29% ownership at 3,600 with Marcus Smart out.
Yeah, I do think that seems kind of low. I'm laughing because I had a second to get away from my baseball lineups, and so I'm listening to you. I open up chat, and of course, as soon as I open up chat, I stop listening to you. But
right, no, you're killing it today.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I agree that it's kind of surprising to me that Pritchard's ownership is as low as it is. You have, I guess it makes sense because he's still twice as expensive as Daniel Tice, but it seems like Tice should probably be more popular. Pritchard, I guess, maybe around where he should be, if not a little bit low. I feel like Tice should be getting more ownership than he is relative to Dwayne Dedmon and even Naismith and Martin.
All right, let's flip it over then. We can talk about Miami here, unless there's anything else for Boston. That's obviously the toughest situation to break down now that they're here. And last thing about Boston, are you cool with, because I'm looking at it now, and they're clearly the top value plays just from overall. I want to pull up the boom bust tool as well, just to see where these guys rank in terms of each team. So in the boom bust tool, do we not have it for, I guess we only have it for 2 game slate tomorrow, right? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, are you fine getting 5-1 Boston Miami lineups?
Oh yeah, I don't care about that.
I don't really think it matters. If anything, you're going to get a lot of them with all of the value piling in on Boston. So I don't think it should make a difference whatsoever. But I'm saying, it's not like an NFL game where you wouldn't, if you had if you had 2 teams that were relatively even matched and you have 5-1, it's not to say that can't work. It obviously can in football, but in basketball, I'm wondering if people look at that a little bit differently, because there's generally a somewhat equal amount of possessions, right? And you're not going to see a 35-3 game where 5-1 in football would seemingly make more sense than in basketball.
Right. And value still drives it too. If you had in Showdown football, you still play 5-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can, at least.
I'm saying in football, a lot of times you do.
Oh,
but
right. But in Showdown basketball, I think typically you do as well.
Oh, you were saying basketball. Gotcha. Okay. I thought you said
I was saying in both sports, I think it's pretty common in Showdown to get 5-1 because value just kind of dictates it. And so typically you're going to end up with whatever team has in this case, Daniel Tice or Peyton Pritchard, earlier this morning it was Dwayne Dedman. You're just going to end up getting, kind of using value to round it out. It doesn't really matter what team they come from.
All right, let's talk about the other side of this one with Miami. Unless you have anything else from Boston, we can flip the page here.
Yeah, I think we can go to Miami.
All right. And by the way, like I said, live before lock up after this 7:30 with Greg and Eric. They'll take you all the way up till 9, 30 minutes through. If you're not doing anything tonight, hang out with these fellas and, sweat some games, talk some betting. It's going to be fun. All right. Miami, Jimmy Butler. And then we'll get into a little bit of lineup construction towards the end of the show as well, outside of just breaking these teams down. But this is kind of the easiest way to do it when it comes to showdown slates. Jimmy Butler. Somebody said that, someone said earlier in chat that just across the industry, Jason Tatum projects so much better than somebody like Jimmy Butler. And, that I don't think that's really a surprise at all, right? It's kind of been the case in most of these games. Jimmy Butler just doesn't necessarily project as good as some of these other guys, but he has been remarkable. Like, he has been one of the best plays. We have Tatum 5 DraftKings points ahead of Jimmy Butler today, and we only have Butler about 2.9 points ahead of Jaylen Brown. Is Jimmy Butler far behind Tatum for you today?
I think he's pretty far behind. The biggest reason is that I expect a rebounding bump for Tatum. We had seen him, struggle to rebound early in the postseason, and then or particularly when Williams came back, and then when Williams went back out, you started seeing those rebounding numbers come back up. Now I'm expecting Tatum to play even closer to the basket. So the combination of, I think, Boston being more in position to defend Jimmy Butler than Philly was, and then also Tatum being in a position to grab a lot of rebounds here, I do think there's a pretty big gap between those two for me.
Okay. Is there a big gap between Butler and Brown?
No, I think those two are a lot more similar.
All right. We have Bam Adebayo projected at 38 today. You're looking at Bam's production through the final games of that series against Philly. Shot volume was way down, and it's no surprise that, in the first couple of games against Philly, you might look at his actual shot volume. It was low, but he was getting to the line a lot. He finished with, 20 plus points, and both those rebounded well. Of course, Joel Embiid was out, so it made a huge difference. Then Joel Embiid comes back. And Bam's production outside of one game definitely. Oh no, he had 24, 23. Yeah. And then his production slid for sure. How does this matchup differ from the Philadelphia matchup where he was facing Embiid for the final 4 games of that series?
I like this one more because, for one, like you said, he's not facing Embiid, but for two, I think that Boston can do a better job on Jimmy Butler, and that's just, as a result, going to lead to more production for Bam, assuming he's healthy, because he was banged up going into that last series. But last series, not only were his rebounding numbers down, but the usage was down a bit. You had Jimmy Butler with the increased usage rate. It wouldn't be surprising to me here if you see Bam's usage increase a bit as a result of Boston being able to do a better job of slowing down Butler.
Maliko, when did you super chat? I didn't. Oh, he said from baseball. What did they not answer him? Wow, man. Wow. All right. Maliko, you've been with us for a while. You have a question. We'll credit it. We'll credit it, despite what Jordan Klein has to say. Man, the vitriol from you. The first words you say in this show are shitting on an iced up year-long Awesemo member. Wait, your mic wasn't hot? That's even worse. Ah, man. Just all around today. All around. 15 months. Wait, we've had this for 15 months. We've had the really? Wow. Okay. I didn't know it was that long. All right. Yeah. Hit me up, Maliko. We'll get you. We'll get you. Did you really not open your mic up to everybody and only we could hear that?
Yeah. You guys
That's
heard it.
soft.
Yeah. You want me to say it again?
What'd you say, Adam? What'd you say, Adam?
I said that's soft.
Very soft. That's unlike you, Jordan.
I'll say it. I said, Maliko, you probably said some dumbass shit. That's what I said.
Yeah. Cola, how am I sitting on? I'm defending it. I'm over here saying, give me your super chat. I know you're kidding, Maliko. I know. All right. So you mentioned that Bam was your your highest projected lineup had Bam in it, right? Or was that
before the news? Yeah.
That was before the news. I can't imagine that's still going to be the case.
No, I mean, for sure, it's going to end up with one of the pay up guys, especially when you talk in terms of top projection.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. I know you talk about this being a spot where Bam, it's a better matchup for him than it was against Philly, but does this news hurt Bam, or does it just make it so where Bam's not as good of a captain spot play?
So in some ways, I think it kind of makes him a better captain spot play because it lowers what the ownership was going to be.
Sure.
But in terms of just projection, it makes him a worse captain spot play just because it makes it easier to get to one of the other guys that project better.
Okay. You mentioned that you have Tatum, considerably higher than Jimmy Butler, but is Butler still a guy that you would think you get a lot of the captain spot and just have him and Tatum in many of the same lineups? Because I can't imagine that's not going to be the case.
With the way ownership looks right now, I think it's likely that I get more Tatum at captain, less Butler, and then more of Brown and Bam, just because Butler's ownership is about the same as Tatum's.
Okay.
Like playing more Butler at utility, less at captain, more Tatum at captain, less Tatum at utility.
How do we sort through some of these other guys, though? I mean, you've got, earlier today, you and I talked about it on the strategy show where you had a Tyler Hero is fine, Max Strus, Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry's out for Miami. I forgot to mention that earlier. PJ Tucker, Gabe Vincent, Dwayne Dedman was someone that had more value earlier in the day. That has since subsided, given that we got the Horford and Marcus Smart news. But let's start with Max Strus, coming off two straight back-to-back double doubles against Philly, played 40 minutes in that last game. Duncan Robinson's been a complete afterthought, barely sometimes not in the rotation at all. I obviously don't think the 6'5" Max Strus is going to come out and continue to rip off double-digit rebounds every day, but he's certainly been involved. And this could be one of those games where Boston does try and pressure Jimmy Butler. They have much better wing defenders than the 76ers did. That's not even in question. Maybe it does open some things up for Max Strus and he continues to get some decent volume, because in those last two games, he had a 23% usage rate.
Yeah, I expect him to still play a lot of minutes. I don't expect the same level of production that we got towards the end of that series. No. But he is someone that overall averages around 3/4 of a fantasy point per minute. And there is still a good chance that you're getting, 32 to 34 minutes from him. Kyle Lowry being out, I think, also helps, just because it creates not that they play the same position, but it's just one more open spot in the closing lineup. Like when Lowry's in, you assume that, especially in a series where they would like PJ Tucker to be out there defensively, you kind of assume Tyler Hero's closing over Max Strus. Now with Lowry out, it's really easy for Hero to just close over Gabe Vincent, and you still have Strus out there.
Blake with the 3-month free super chat. He said, do you think Strus rebounds continue? MVP play? No, but I do like over 3.5 assists for Max Strus today. The over is juiced. I think Fanduel, you get it -150, but I still like that, of course. I like over 16.5 points rebounds for Max Strus as well. But if you're asking, do the rebounds continue like we've seen? It's unlikely. Now, it's possible because the Boston Celtics just love to chuck up threes. They're averaging almost 40 per game. And while it may not seem like it, Miami actually does, despite allowing a low percentage shooting from beyond the arc. They give up a lot of 3-point attempts, and they did in the regular season. So, if they play good defense and Boston's just chucking them up and they're bouncing out to Strus, it's doable. But yeah, his average rebound distance was like 9 feet in that series. So it's not like he's hovering under the basket, just gobbling up rebounds, stealing them out of Bam's hands.
Right. Yeah. You're certainly not expecting those rebound numbers to continue. You don't want to just throw away what Max Strus is and what he did all season long, just because, he had a couple of good rebounding games at the end of the last series.
Right. I mean, he averaged almost 5 per 36. So it's not like he's terrible.
No,
he's just not a double machine.
Right. Yeah, in the postseason overall, he had an 8.9% usage rate. During the regular season, he was at 7.6%. So it's not like he's a horrible rebounder. Like, it's not like this is somebody that you're expecting to go out there and grab like 2 or 3 rebounds and he's out there getting double-doubles. But you're certainly not expecting double-doubles to continue either.
No, and in those last 2 games, he had a 17% rebound rate.
Right.
Like that, completely unsustainable. but I like the way he's playing. I like that he's getting minutes. I don't have any issue with it. And like I said, I don't mind a couple of those over props on him. It's just, I think, temper your expectations a little bit. What do you think about Victor Oladipo's minutes today with Kyle Lowry out? Like, what's a reasonable amount of run that we can project him for?
I think around 24. I think it's pretty volatile. If he's playing well, he could certainly get a couple more minutes. If he's playing poorly, he could get less. We saw him, down around 20 minutes in those last couple of games. I think the playing time is pretty volatile, but it's still tough for me to want to get to him at this price tag, one way or the other. I think that the ownership's relatively low, which is nice at 19% if you want to take some tournament shots there. But at the same time, it's pretty tough for me to want to get there. Did you mention that Boston's starting lineup is in?
Just going to throw that out there now. Yeah. So go ahead.
Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. It does make me like Robert Williams a little bit more. Antoine Murphy said it would he would like him less. I have no idea why, because the only concern with Robert Williams is how healthy is he? Are the Celtics lying about him being healthy or not? The fact that he's starting makes me think that they actually do believe he can play good minutes here. If he was coming off the bench, it would reinforce to me that they don't think he can play as many minutes as he normally would. So, he's not a high usage guy. So, him being in the starting lineup doesn't matter. It's all about the minutes for him. And with him being in the starting lineup with that confirmed, I do like him. I'm a little bit less concerned about his playing time.
I was just going to say that. Like, this is not your, a 6-man or, second guy off the bench that in the regular season operates with a lot of, and first of all, it's in the playoffs. Most of these starters are playing 40+ minutes anyway. And them coming off the bench hardly matters when they're overlapping with most of the high usage players anyway. Like it's almost a moot point, but he's a guy that you're relying on some putbacks. You're relying on rebounds and hopefully some blocks, maybe some stocks, but no, you want Robert Williams starting 100%. And to everything you mentioned about the injury, yes, you would like to assume that he's healthy now, or at least healthy enough as a result, but no, he's not the type of guy that you don't want starting, because there's nothing that impacts that from playing alongside Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. It's not like he's going up in a starting lineup alongside monster rebounders.
Right. Yeah. He's out there playing with, Tatum and Grant Williams, and he's a 12% usage guy. So there are, when guys like Tyler Hero start, then you're like, okay, well, the minutes look better, but the production's going to come down because he's playing alongside Jimmy Butler, and if Kyle Lowry's in somehow, then he's taking assists from him and all that. 6 men, like you said, but with Williams, what he does isn't being cut into by the guys he's playing next to.
Yeah, and honestly, that is one of the things, if we were to just go back for a second with Derek White. It's like Derek White, once again, how much does it really matter in the postseason? Honestly, not that much. All of Derek White's minutes last game. No, not all of them. I'm sorry, but they're all coming with some of these, like most of the good starters on the floor. But Derek White as a starter, I mean, you have Tatum first, then you have Jaylen Brown, probably even Grant Williams at this point. I mean, it's very possible that Derek White is an afterthought offensively, but it might not matter if he's playing 35, 36 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you want to approach PJ Tucker? This is always a fun one, just given that he's going to play. They need PJ Tucker's presence on the floor tonight. If he's not getting in any foul trouble, he's done a decent job of staying out of that against some pretty dominant, some good offensive players. You would think they'd want him out there against these great wings for Boston.
Yeah, and that's why I do think you get more minutes from him, like barring foul trouble, which kind of has been an issue. But the thing is, like, we've seen Miami in a lot of blowouts previously in the postseason, and then we've also seen a lot of games where he just kind of wasn't in the closing lineup. But I think it's more necessary for him to be there in this series. Like, I would expect that if he is able to avoid foul trouble, and if the game is competitive, that you're talking about PJ Tucker playing into the mid-30s.
All right, and let's go to Gabe Vincent. Here's another one if we're getting into some value. 27, 28 minutes in the last 2 games, 28, 29 minutes in games 1 and 2 against Philly. Of course, Kyle Lowry had 2 active games sandwiched in between 2 inactive games. So he didn't play games 1 and 2. He didn't play games 5 and 6. We have a pretty decent idea of what Vincent's minutes look like. Although if you remember, and I know you do because it wasn't long ago, Vincent did have some very weird rotations in that series where like he would play and then he'd play poorly and then he didn't return for the rest of the first half, but then he started the second half, but then Oladipo got a lot of minutes. So I think you project him for 28 today, right? But I don't know. I mean, where does he come in for you? We've got him at 22% and no ownership virtually in the captain spot on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, 28 minutes I think makes sense. I'm not super confident in it. That is what he's averaged in the games he started without Lowry in the postseason. But like you said, he's also had some weird rotations where, like in one of those games, he got there in garbage time, but he basically looked like he was done for the day prior to garbage time. So I think that there's still ways he can lose those minutes. You know, Tyler Hero plays well, and instead of playing 28 or 29, Hero plays 34. Oladipo plays well, and he takes minutes from Vincent. There's certainly ways that he loses minutes, but at 4,200, he still projects as a decent value, just, you know, assuming he is going to play 26 to 28 minutes on average.
All right, 15 minutes to go here. Still a few more things to break down, but I think I mentioned this a couple shows ago. If you want essentially the easiest way to get $200 for free, and you enjoy sports betting, let me give you the way to do this. It's ridiculously simple. I know a lot of you guys in chat last time had said you did it and you got your money, which is what I want to hear, because that would, I mean, why would you not? But people, you know, people are always weird. BetMGM, Jordan, throw that. Did you do that already? Throw that in. No, not NBA LBL. BetMGM. Put BetMGM in for me. You did? Okay, I see NBA LBL in there. Oh, okay. Why is that under NBA? Oh, I see. All right. Anyway, BetMGM. You bet $10, you win $200. It's that simple. These books want to give you money right now because they want your business. It makes sense, right? Sports betting is booming. All you have to do is use that link or the one that we have in the description of this video. Use that link, sign up. You have to be a new user. Sign up with that link, deposit $10. More if you want, only has to be $10 though. Bet either team to win tonight. Bet Miami to win, bet Boston, whoever you like, put $10 on them. If they score 22 plus points, which they will, that 10 turns into $200. I don't even care if you don't really love sports betting yet, but if it's available to you, it's $200 that you have that you didn't have yesterday. So use the link in the description. All you have to do is bet $10 on any team to win. If they score 22 plus points, you're in. $10 to $200 like that over at BetMGM. All right. Adam, break down the rest of Miami for me. Any guys we haven't touched on? I guess Bam and Tyler Hero, we didn't really dive into that much.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned I like Bam in tournaments just at that ownership, pulling 9% at 8,400. So you're getting a little bit of a salary discount off of Brown, a pretty big salary discount off of Butler and Tatum. You can still get those massive games from Bam. It's still a difficult matchup, but, you know, I do think Boston probably does a better job of slowing down Tatum, or slowing down Butler rather, which can lead to more production for Bam. And he's pretty low owned at captain. 42% utility ownership, I think, looks fine as well. Hero's an interesting one in tournaments too. Like, he's played really poorly recently, but the minutes are there if he plays well. He's only 6,600. We know that he is capable of just taking over as a scorer. And that's another path. You know, what if Boston does do a good job of limiting Jimmy Butler scoring and Miami does lean on somebody like Hero or Oladipo? I think Hero being the more likely of the two. Not getting a ton of not getting much captain ownership at all at 4%, only 33% utility ownership. He's expensive enough where he can still fail pretty miserably at this price, but there are ways this game plays out if Boston does do a decent job of taking away Butler, where Hero is relied on more and you do get several minutes more than people are expecting Hero to play.
Anything else from Miami that we haven't gotten into? Any other cheap options too that are worth even discussing that we haven't talked about that could be the difference maker? I know you said you're not too worried about chopping with other people and getting duped, but are there any guys that, you know, someone is concerned about that, or just doesn't matter if they are or they aren't, provides, you know, a nice opportunity to get a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk about the cheap value on Miami, I don't think. Dwayne Dedmon, I expect to play around 10 minutes. He's $2,000. I don't love the play, but he did see his ownership basically cut in half from this morning. He is getting less than Daniel Tice. So if you have a popular lineup and you're trying to save some ownership, he makes some sense there. I saw R. Cathelza make the point in chat, and I agree. If PJ Tucker does get into foul trouble, I think there's a pretty good chance that you see more playing time from Caleb Martin for defensive reasons. Not that he's a great point per minute guy, but at only $1,000 and 5% ownership, there is a path to him getting enough minutes to be useful. Duncan Robinson, maybe he re-enters the rotation, knocks down a couple threes out of the gate, and steals some minutes from Oladipo or something, or Vincent or something like that. Not the most likely outcome, but I think that those guys at virtually no ownership are at least worth a mention because they should at least step on the floor tonight.
All right. Let's dive into strategy talk. 300 likes. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Over 1,400 people watching with us today. So we are grateful. And shout out to Jordan Klein for putting that link in. The MGM link is not the exclamation NBA LBL, right? Did you just do 2 of them?
No. This is specific for Live Before Lock, but the like promotion that I don't know when you're gonna read it. Probably now, maybe. The NBA
No,
Live.
not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. Well then, yeah. This is for Live Before Lock. Look at it.
Okay. What he's saying is you get 50% off everything at awesemo.com when you use the promo NBA LBL. 50% off everything for the month. All right. Let's want to build a lineup real quick and see what happens.
I just built the cash lineup. It's really easy.
Okay. So
by hand, I think this is it.
Okay. So let me see from a cash line. I'm just building by hand. I'm not looking at projections or anything. Let me see if I come close to it. Is it Tatum in the captain spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler. To be clear, I mean this is in like. So I'm gonna take back the cash lineup thing because I didn't use Fantasy Crunch or anything. I just threw it together by hand, but I'm already finding ways that I would adjust it.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. You were just looking on DraftKings, building something by hand, right?
Yeah. Basically, you can go Tatum at captain, Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, and then there's just still a bunch of combinations you can go to where you're mixing in like, combinations of Hero, White, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Daniel Tice, Peyton Pritchard.
So when I built one the first time, I think it was Tatum, Butler, Brown, Robert Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and then you come into kind of a dead zone where you're going down the Tice or like a Deadman because you have $3,600 remaining. If you make that adjustment and you go captain, and we're obviously not talking about a lineup that isn't going to be popular here, but there are ways to do it where if you were to take, say, like, okay, Jaylen Brown at captain, what would that give you if you went Jaylen Brown at captain plus Jason Tatum and Butler? You got 5,000 remaining. That gets you to Grant Williams. So that's Brown. Here's one for you, Adam. It's 5-1, but Jaylen Brown captain, Tatum, Butler, Robert Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams.
Yeah, like I think that looks good. The one that I have right now is Tatum at captain, Butler, Brown, White, Tice, Grant Williams.
Butler, Brown, White, Tice. So no Robert Williams in that one.
Right. Like you could make Grant Williams Robert if you want to. You could make White Robert.
Right. You can make all of them. Yeah, that's true. Okay. I am still a little bit surprised to see. Maybe it does make sense the more that I look at it. And now that you're putting some of these together, maybe you could speak on this as well. Maybe it is a little bit less surprising to see that Peyton Pritchard's only pulling 28% in our ownership projections, free, of course, like I said, because you don't necessarily need him to make a good lineup today.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward fit. Like the first lineup I built when I said, I just built the cash lineup, had Peyton Pritchard, because in my head I was thinking like, Pritchard's going to be in it. And then I realized immediately I could just like make a better lineup by changing a couple things around. So I do think that ownership being where it is makes sense.
Okay. Who else would you say if we're not going Tatum? If we're not going Tatum at captain, are there any contrarian captains? This is probably a worthwhile conversation. So if we're not going Tatum, but we're looking at, and say you don't want to go like any of the top tier guys, but Butler, Tatum, or Brown, you can decide what you want to say about Bam Adebayo. If you had to make decisions there, are there any other captains that you like where you would just jam every other high-priced player in and get maybe a mid-range guy at captain?
Yes, I mean, I had mentioned Bam, but if you go lower than that, I think the two guys that I would be most interested in making captain would be Robert Williams and Tyler Hero, just because those guys really do still have high ceilings, even though it's, difficult to rely on them. You're not totally, this isn't a slate. It's easy enough to get to the guys like Tatum and Butler at the top. There's a lot of slates, a lot of showdown slates in the postseason where pricing is tight enough where I kind of like just punting captain and then getting all of the stars in and then hoping for the best from the captain spot. That's not really what I want to do here, just because it's just so easy to get to the pay up guys at captain without sacrificing too much. But if you go to somebody like Tyler Hero or Robert Williams, at least you do have pretty big raw point upside, and you can get everything else into your lineup pretty much. The issue though is, like, even if you go to Hero, you still can't get Tatum, Butler, Brown, and Bam. If you go to Robert Williams, you can. You just end up with like Daniel Tice or Dwayne Dedman as your last guy in, which obviously that particular lineup's just going to be duplicated a ton because there's not a lot of options there. But at least with Robert Williams, a captain, you can get the 4 pay up options. With Tyler Hero, you still can't.
Let's spend a couple minutes talking about Fanduel here. And I know some people ask throughout the show why we talk mostly DraftKings. There's a lot of reasons, but and if you want to add to this, feel free. On these single game slates, DraftKings is so much more complex. There's way more nuance. And I'll tell you what, 74% of MVP ownership in our ownership projections is going to Tatum and Butler. 98% is going to the combination of Tatum, Butler, Brown, and Bam Adebayo. Once you get past that, because there is no multiplier, you're not paying 1.5x salary. Like, there's no real advantage to putting Tyler Hero in the MVP spot. There's no real advantage to putting Robert Williams in the MVP spot. Whereas on DraftKings at captain, it makes things entirely different.
Yeah, there's just, like you said, more strategy on DraftKings. Also, from a macro standpoint, if we talked about each site, this show would take 2 hours.
That's also why we actually break down each team in depth, like,
right, and that's the thing, like,
on every player.
Yeah, like when you talk about players, and typically if something really stands out as a mispricing on FanDuel, it gets mentioned. But like, yeah, it's not just crunching DraftKings lineups all shows. Like, it's talking about players, and if like they're overpriced on DraftKings but they're way cheaper on FanDuel, then they're probably a good play, and vice versa. But yeah, as far as Showdown goes, like, FanDuel's so much less complex because, Tyler Hero is 1% owned at MVP, which is cool until you think about the fact that he literally just has to outscore everybody else.
Exactly. There's nothing else to that. Robert Williams could be like the 4th highest scoring player on this slate. And if the margins are tight, like if he still has a very solid score, he could be the optimal captain. That's not the case on FanDuel. The MVP, you want the highest scoring player, raw points. It's that simple. So Jordan Lockhart, thank you, man. As always, $20 super chat. Thanks, Loughran and Adam. Appreciate y'all as always. There he was with that y'all. I feel like I'm the only person that doesn't say y'all because you say it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jordan says it.
I would bet my life Jordan does not say it.
You don't think so? Hey, y'all, my sink's overflowing. That was good stuff. Jordan's sink started overflowing at the end of our strategy show today.
I guess it shouldn't be surprising that the guy that still thinks a park is a playground doesn't know how to turn off water.
It's not shocking. No, it's not shocking. And Kevin said, y'all ain't a Philly thing for sure. No, yeah. I mean, like, I'm outside of Philly, but no, it's not something that's frequently used around here at all. But thanks for the super chat, Jordan. Appreciate you. We got Eric, we got Greg coming up. I did want to mention to you guys though, if you wanted to get in and you're a first time user or you'd be a new user at Awesemo, 50% off everything on the site for your first time when you sign up. We want you to check these tools out. They're awesome. Everything created by Alex Baker, Awesemo himself, from the boom bust to the ownership to top stacks to all of our tools for baseball, hockey, basketball, football, F1, USFL, soccer, tennis. And you might be like, yeah, but I don't know those sports. You don't know NASCAR, UFC, PJ. It doesn't matter. That's why we have the tools. That's why you use the tools. And that's why, there's a lot of people, a lot of the best players out there don't really intricately know or intimately know the sports that they're winning, a lot of money at. Many of them truly don't, especially the ones that are playing as many sports as they are. So 50% off the entire month. And if you want, you can get that Fantasy Cruncher add-on. NBA Live, all caps, NBA Live, right? Yeah. NBA Live, all caps, all one word. Use that at checkout when you go to awesemo.com/join. Make sure to do the Awesemo Plus Platinum month. It's 50% off the top. That's a huge discount. All right, Adam, final thoughts here to wrap it up. We talked both teams. We talked roster construction. We build a lineup for cash to get an idea what makes the most sense. And anything else before we turn this page over to the Live Before Lock crew?
No, I mean, I think we talked about everybody that we expect to step on the floor. It goes with slates and, every slate in general, but especially with a one-game slate. If you feel uncomfortable with your lineup, that's probably fine. In NBA, it's tough to, you're not going to recommend doing something totally insane because you just don't get the same sort of volatility that you do in the NFL or in MLB. But, I saw, I don't remember who said it, but somebody in chat basically said that you were just giving away money if you didn't play Jason Tatum at captain. Stuff like that's not true at all. You can certainly get to the fourth, fifth best option at captain and still make some good lineups, still put yourself in a good situation. And it's not going to feel great. Obviously, I would like to have Tatum in every lineup at captain, but, it's ownership still matters, obviously. But, yeah, in NBA, it just gets difficult to go too far off the board since you do have limited options and projections are less volatile.
All right, follow Adam.
Wait. One other thing I wanted to mention. It doesn't have anything to do with
now he wants to talk. It's 7:31, and look at him come to life. My God.
No, I had mentioned it this morning, and I didn't think about it until 5 minutes ago. It doesn't affect this slate, but I had said something about remembering when you use Fantasy Cruncher to set the minimum to 0. I'm almost positive last year the minimum price on DraftKings was still $200 for basketball. And that's why
I thought so too. I said it. We both said it this morning. We thought it was, and I was like, "Wait, it's 1,000."
And that's why that came into play. Because today, that would make no sense. Why would you play a 0 over Caleb Martin or Duncan Robinson or whatever? But yeah, last year you could say "Oh, well, I'll just play somebody not in the rotation because he's only 200 and it opens stuff up." So yeah, as long as they keep 1,000 as the price floor, just ignore anybody that watched the strategy show. Ignore that part of it.
All right. We will see you back here tomorrow on the strategy show. You got Live Before Lock or deeper dive after that. Greg and Eric coming up next. Hang with them after as well. We'll catch you back here. Have a good night and good luck tonight. Peace.
Derek's fault.
X2. Go to the
another
top
one.
X2. No way.
No, it ended up fly out to the warning.
This is gonna be a fun MLB slate, but it is now time for the NBA Live Before Lock show presented by PrizePicks. I'm Eric Lindquist. We're gonna be breaking down this single game showdown. We have game one, Boston, Miami. No news, nothing to really account for. Nothing happened earlier this afternoon, so that's cool. Wait a second. Being told that that's not the case. So we're ready to rock. We made it perfect time too. Perfect on the counter, on the countdown. By all means, by all purposes, we're crushing the game. Jordan Klein, relax. He's behind the virtual glass today. Being dramatic as always. We move on. But I got my buddy Greg. And if there's one person that I want to be doing any Celtics series with, a game one with, it's you. You are the most invested person I know in this series, monetarily, emotionally, probably. But my God, what devastating news for you. How are you feeling going into game one?
I mean, I'm monetarily invested, but I'm not emotionally invested in my money. So I'm not emotionally invested in this series. Like,
What's that like? What's that like?
I would prefer, my preference is the Celtics to win, but I'm not going to be like devastated if they don't win.
Okay. Well,
like I feel like from a number standpoint, I feel like I've made good bets on the Boston Celtics. I've got them at 27-1 to win the Eastern Conference. I got them 60-1 to win the NBA championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not thrilled about today's news, to be sure, because Marcus Smart is out. Al Horford, we've since found out, isn't vaccinated, apparently. So he is in the COVID protocols, and who knows how long he's going to be out for. So it hurts the Celtics' chance to win. It lowers the amount of money that I could potentially be expected to make. So not ideal, but we've got value for tonight at least.
Boston's a very liberal place. I'm very curious to see how they deal with Al Horford being shelved here, because this could be a massive turning point for a team that I thought was destined. I thought whoever came out of this Milwaukee-Boston series should have been the favorite. Like, it's hard for me to look at any of those teams from those two. I know they're going on the road. Game one, they're slight dogs. So when you look at it that way, they would have to win a game on the road regardless, but they've proven capable of doing such. Al Horford, just a straight up Aaron Rodgers move. That's all it was.
It seems like it, because I was reading over, and I don't know this for sure because I'm just reading the NBA's guidelines because I was curious. And here is what it is so apparently any player who has been fully vaccinated and boosted no longer gets tested daily and no longer gets tested on game days. So by the way, oh no, that was off the top of the wall. I was sorry to cut off, but I'm also distracted by the Boston Red Sox. I'm also distracted by the Boston Red Sox game because as we were waiting for the shows to be in between, I was telling Eric that the wind is ridiculous at Fenway and everything getting hit in the air is a home run. After I said that, back-to-back homers happened right after that, and Jose Altuve just hit one off the top of the Green Monster. But so that aside, anyway, according to, if I understand the NBA rules correctly, if you're vaccinated, you don't get tested. So the only reason that Al Horford is getting tested here is because he's not vaccinated. So he basically has to test out now to be back in.
And here we were on Jaylen Brown alert when it came to that. Like that was kind of the big thing we were sweating in terms of them wanting to dodge Toronto, not having to go that direction. Obviously, Matisse Thybulle, a little bit different. The Philadelphia first round series, only guy who didn't travel back and forth to Toronto. Philadelphia, that didn't really matter. But we're looking at a massive, massive absence here. And I think that we have to just start there. Robert Williams in the starting lineup, Derek White in the starting lineup, Grant Williams in the starting lineup, alongside, of course, Brown and Tatum. Who is your favorite piece of value for DraftKings purposes on this slate?
Yeah, so one thing I'm interested in is, let me see if we have updated ownership, because in normal circumstances here, it would be Robert Williams for me. There's so much uncertainty with him just because, I mean, he was a DNP coach's decision in game 7. So I start to wonder, how healthy is he? He's in the starting lineup. So on one hand,
Brantley bomb.
Oh, did he just homer? I was trying
He's the only guy I didn't play from Houston.
The sequence of events with me telling you of everything that's hit in the air in this stadium is going to be a home run today. And by the way, none of these balls are hit well at all. And all of them are homers. Because I just looked down and saw that.
It's like a 60-degree downwind, 40-mile-an-hour wind. Just get it in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
So anyway, I wanted to bring up the updated ownership projections and see where we are at on Robert Williams, because there's such a wide range of outcomes with him. Like, how confident are you in the minutes that Robert Williams plays tonight?
I'm not, but if I'm not going to play Tatum and I'm not going to play Bam and I'm not going to play Jimmy Butler in a captain spot, I can guarantee you it's Robert Williams that's in it.
I love the upside of him. And this is the spot that I have targeted throughout the entire postseason. By the way, the most recent run of ownership, he's underowned at 40%. Actually, Derek White is too at 33%.
Yes,
these seem like crazy low ownerships from me on Draftkings.
We need to get, I think we need to get another run. I think we're waiting on another run.
Do we still have, I mean, it doesn't have Horford in anymore.
Yeah, but we still, I mean, this is, I don't think it adjusted for the starting lineup being confirmed.
Could be. I mean, but still, we would have expected Derek White to play extended minutes. On FanDuel, he's projected for 19% ownership, 23% for Robert Williams. So, I mean, any concerns I have about them totally go out the window when they're not that popular, particularly on FanDuel with Derek White sub 20%. You know, no matter what with Derek White starting, maybe people are also a little influenced by what happened the last time that Derek White was super chalk in the situation. Do you remember that the outcome of that game?
Yes, Greg, I do.
It didn't go well for us.
It was no bueno would be the right way of saying it.
And, you know, so maybe that's something that's going to weigh on people. But in general, Derek White, it's a one-game slate. It's very hard to find real value on a one-game slate, but we found it because two starters are out for the Boston Celtics today. So Derek White, Robert Williams are the obvious beneficiaries, and they're popular, but not as popular as they should be. So I like them a lot.
All right, we got an $8.88 super chat from my guy 8 Game. Been crushing the NBA streets over there on FanDuel. 100K win earlier last week. That was beautiful stuff. But he says, Eric, so he's asking me, but I'm going to ask you too. What should I place an 888 bet on for tonight's game? Well, we have OddsShopper. I'd head over to OddsShopper and take a look at some of the props. I would probably spread around that 888, but if you're just looking for a side, I hope you got -1.5 with me on the Miami side. That would feel good. But otherwise, Greg, I'm going to turn this over to you. You're my co-host. And I would say betting extraordinaire there out in New Jersey. Is there something that catches your attention that you're absolutely wanting to invest a large sum of money? I would call it a large sum of money for anybody. Is there something you're pretty confident in for tonight?
Yeah, I would go back in time and bet the Celtics money line before I spend some of that money.
Are you the Heat money line? Heat money line?
So, by the way, I thought there was another homer in the baseball game, but they were showing a replay.
Just turn the game off. Join me, please.
No. That's right. So let's see. I'm pulling up OddsShopper. You guys should use also. It's free resource, free tool to use, and super easy. Find your best bet. It takes like 10 seconds. I don't know that I necessarily feel great about unders for Daniel Tice. Looks like we like the over for Jaylen Brown. Do I align with that?
I like everything Jaylen Brown when it comes to props today. And I don't bet them earlier before they changed drastically, but 5.5 is still pretty low.
So considering they're now in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Celtics are without two of their best players, we'll call it at a minimum 2 of their top 5 players, right? No matter where you want to rank, you know, Tatum, Brown, I think they're pretty clearly 1, 2. And then behind them, it's some combination of Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Al Horford. So 2 of those guys are missing. And I just have to assume, considering the stakes of this game being game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, that we're probably seeing massive minutes out of Tatum and Brown. And they didn't have to play as much as we thought they were going to in game 7 of the series against the Bucks, because that game was just not super competitive. So ultimately, what do we see? 37 minutes from Tatum and 37 minutes from Tatum, 37 minutes for Brown. I would be surprised if either of them play under 40 minutes today. So that's something that just really helps out those counting stats. So long story short, give me the over 5.5 rebounds for Jaylen Brown.
I love that. We're on board with that. I got over 31.5 points plus rebounds plus assists before that got taken off the board at PrizePicks, our sponsor. Thank you so much to them for their sponsorship here of our show. We'll be talking about them here in a second, but that's definitely something I would want. 8Game did say that he bet $400 on the Celtics. What's so funny?
Gurriel just hit a homer also.
Stop it.
Nope. Totally serious.
Oh my God. All right. Well, at least I have some of him, but I'm looking at my best lineup, and obviously I had all the homers. I didn't need any more here from Boston. This is absurd. Nathan Eovaldi was popular too on FanDuel, wasn't he? Yeah, I think he was pretty popular. Oh, how about this? Brantley, Tucker, Alvarez, Springer. That's my starting. I have the 4 best batters there on FanDuel.com so far in 2 of my 50 lineups. One time, but again, nobody wants to talk baseball here at the moment. Well, actually, I do. I'm with you, but we got to get back here to the streets. Day basketball. Let's do it. Yeah, Gurriel 2-run shot. It's stupid. I think Robert Williams, I think we've kind of started there. Let's go to the top of the board because I asked you about your favorite pieces of value, and I think we'll move our way down similar to what the last show did, but different. I don't know how, but we're going to do it some kind of way with that. Right now, our captain ownership, Jimmy Butler, 24.6%, Jason Tatum, 21.7%. One lineup. You're building one lineup today. Which one do you prefer at captain?
All right. So, by the way, I think this answer is different. And I know they're also called different things on FanDuel and DraftKings. The answer for me is different across the 2 different sites. So, since you asked me about DraftKings, I'm going to say Jason Tatum. Actually, I'm going to answer these both together. It's on Tatum. It's Tatum on DraftKings. It's Butler on FanDuel. And this is the reason why. It's because it's the 3-point bonus that we have over on DK, I think benefits Jason Tatum more. And he's also a little bit lower owned at the captain spot than Jimmy Butler, whereas over on FanDuel, actually, I find this to be really, really strange. Scoring is more favorable on DraftKings for Tatum than it is for Butler. On FanDuel, the scoring is more favorable for Butler than it is for Tatum, yet the ownership is inverse on the 2 sites. And I don't think that should be the case. I think Butler should be more popular on FanDuel. I think Tatum should be more popular on DraftKings. So that's why those are what my answers are.
Did you see the JJ Redick, Patrick Beverley back and forth about Jimmy Butler's 3-point shooting?
No.
Do you know what Jimmy Butler is shooting from 3 for the season?
Very, very poorly.
Yes.
I don't know what the number is.
I want you to guess.
It has to be in the neighborhood of like 22%, if not lower.
23.3%. Really good guess there off the top of your head, because Stephen A decided to say that Jimmy Butler's a 3-point shooter. And the look is exactly what I posted on twitter.com at Eric Lindquist. That is the look I led for you and I answering questions on this show to a certain extent. But they looked at him like he had never seen a game of basketball in his life. And I'm with you. Jason Tatum, confirmed the more prominent 3-point shooter by a drastic extent. So I think that rationale makes a lot of sense. Even more opportunities coming the way of Jason Tatum, of Jaylen Brown, everybody and their dog on the Boston side, I think is in play. It would seem like to me. But Jimmy Butler, I think, FanDuel, I'm probably going to be looking a little bit more his direction. I'm looking at most of my lineups over there. They are going to put him over in the MVP spot. And then it's impossible to get away from playing a ton of both of them. So I don't really know what people want us to say in that regard. But now let's start to get different in terms of captain, in terms of if you want to talk about MVP, is there anybody else outside of Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, and Jason Tatum that you would consider for the MVP spot on FanDuel?
Just because of what his ownership is, I think you can make a case for Bam Adebayo. And it's funny because I've been posting some of these polls just to see where people's pulse is at comparing certain players. And I mean, I put a poll up, who's the best player in the 76ers Heat series, and it was pretty split, but there was actually a slight lean by the public in terms of people preferring Jimmy Butler to Joel Embiid, which would obviously have not been the case a month ago. Like people were not that far removed from being outraged that Joel Embiid didn't win MVP. And now a lot of people think Jimmy Butler is better than Joel Embiid. But anyway, I put up a poll today where I had said, who's the best player in the series? I threw Bam Adebayo into the poll just because I kind of felt like he warranted some sort of consideration. He isn't the right answer. It should be Jason Tatum in terms of who's the best player in the series. But Bam Adebayo is really good. And he has a lot of defensive stat upside as well. And with Al Horford out of the mix, like Bam Adebayo is going to be seeing minutes against Daniel Tice at points in this game. And we don't know how healthy Robert Williams is. I think if it was up to the Celtics, they wouldn't be starting Robert Williams in this spot, but they're kind of forced to because of the situation with Al Horford and Marcus Smart being out. They're going to be really thin. They're going to be playing a tight rotation. So I don't think this is as bad of a matchup for Bam Adebayo as it typically would be going up against the Celtics. And the wing defense and the backcourt defense it's outstanding for Boston. They might have the best defense in all of the NBA. And that's not to say that Robert Williams isn't a terrific defender. He actually would have probably been my vote for Defensive Player of the Year this year had he not been injured at the end of the year. But I don't know how healthy he is. So I kind of like the individual matchup for Bam Adebayo, and I think he's a viable contrarian option at MVP.
Okay. I do have one question. Again, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, two massive pieces of that defense that will be absent today. What is your consideration for Daniel Theis on this slate? Because I'm obviously in the camp that thinks that Robert Williams is healthy, and I think he's going to play a ton of minutes, and I think he's my favorite contrarian play, favorite guy to get over the field on as it stands in our current ownership, and I'll get to way more of him than 6% in the captain spot on DK. But if he is going to be limited, and similar to, I didn't think he was going to play 0 minutes last game. What if he is limited? Is Daniel Theis somebody that we might be needing to take a larger look at in the context of this slate, considering I don't think he's garnering as much attention, obviously, as much as Pritchard, Derek White, or the aforementioned Robert Williams?
Well, I mean, even if Williams isn't restricted at all and plays his normal role, Theis still has to get minutes. So with that in mind, I think Theis, and by the way, this is more of a DraftKings than FanDuel type thing, because, you know, if you absolutely needed to take somebody at the minimum salary on FanDuel, you could go with Theis, but it's unnecessary when there's guys like Robert Williams and Derek White for cheap. But at least on DraftKings, he opens up a lot of possibility, and he doesn't have to be a good pointsman and fantasy producer. You get 15 minutes out of Daniel Theis, he could be, you know, a 0.6 fantasy producer guy, and you're getting around 10 fantasy points from him. So I think he's a really strong value option. And yeah, as of right now, the ownership projections don't really bear out that the field's on him in any significant way.
It's kind of what I'm starting to get the impression of. Again, I keep refreshing everything constantly, playing a lot on DraftKings, a lot on FanDuel, a lot on PrizePicks today as well, because I got some of those props in early. Go Heat in that regard. Go Grant Williams in that regard. Going to be a wonky day for me if neither of those two come to fruition. But yeah, I think Daniel Theis, as I'm updating everything, kind of the slept on guy. I think I want to be getting to a little bit more of the field. As we make our way down captain, as we make our way down MVP, or if you want to talk pro, all-star slots, anything over on FanDuel, let me know as well. But I think it's going to be pretty clear that the field wants to play a little bit more Tyler Hero on DK for showdown purposes. I find myself just siding big time with the Celtics. Maybe that's going to be the approach most people take, but I'm seeing Hero getting quite a bit of attention at the captain spot, 5.1%. Who's your favorite contrarian captain spot? Or I guess it would be kind of pro spot. Obviously, you're not going to put him up in MVP, but who's your favorite contrarian guy to get to on today's slate?
Yeah, so that's a tough question to answer from this standpoint.
Yeah.
I think that there's so much good value to be had right now between Robert Williams, Derek White, Daniel Theis. You could also add Peyton Pritchard into the mix, because Pritchard, I also think, is going to play backup point guard minutes. I prefer Theis to Pritchard personally, but Pritchard's certainly in play. So I do think the most sensible builds are paying up at captain. And then obviously for MVP on FanDuel, there'd be no reason to go cheap at that spot. But I don't know that I really like getting to anybody super cheap in any significant way, captain, just because it's easy enough to pay up for the stars. And I think the way that it makes more sense to be contrarian, just leave some salary on the table.
Yeah, I think we've seen Grant Williams is willing to shoot the basketball. Did I see 18 threes coming his direction after a high of 9? No, I did not. But I mean, it's at least shown there. Here might be the more interesting question. If it's not Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo, and I make you pick one, well, or Tyler Hero, because I said he's going a little bit overowned, I believe, in the captain spot there. Who's your favorite Miami guy if I make you captain one?
If you make me, and it can't,
I'm making you.
And it can't be Jimmy Butler.
I said no Jimmy Butler, no Bam
Jimmy
Adebayo,
Butler.
no Tyler Hero.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to play Tyler Hero there anyway, but
Me either.
So
that's what I'm.
it can't be either of them.
Because I think the answer is pretty weird.
Yeah, the answer is I wouldn't tell anybody to do it.
I'm making you. Again, we're trying to make a completely unduped lineup in some capacity on DK, which is going to be tough to do. But I think the answer for me is, I don't want to even like say it out loud.
You're gonna say PJ Tucker?
I was gonna say
dirty
PJ
dog.
Tucker.
Don't tell people to captain PJ.
I'm
Tucker.
saying if you
Oh,
had
my God.
to, I have 2% of
God.
him in the captain, and I'm just saying, I'm making 60 lineups today, and he's in one lineup. Is that the worst thing I've ever done? Should I just not do that?
I mean, I'm gonna tell people to not play PJ Tucker, Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo. Don't play any of this shit in the captain spot.
Okay.
Don't do it.
All right.
Don't
well,
do
I
it.
was just trying to find something
Don't
fun
be
to
Eric.
talk about there.
Goddamn dunderhead.
Well, what you should dunderhead.
Dunderhead. Yeah, we're bringing out the really naughty words.
Oh yeah, was it 1944 and they want their comeback back? Is that what's going on? What's going on?
I don't even know if that's from 1944.
Maybe think Dunder Mifflin.
I'm just telling people not to play PJ Tucker and captain.
You dunderhead.
All right, go lock PJ Tucker in the captain spot. Go ahead and lock him.
I didn't say that. I was just
Yeah,
trying to.
Eric's playing 100.
All right. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. As contrarian as that is, which has a 0.1% chance of really working out in, again, it's one in a bazillion.
And he also has ownership of the captain spot.
Everybody's saying, lay off the booze, dude. That's nasty work. PJ Tucker, Tice, freaking out. Daniel Tice doesn't play for the Heat. The Heat, that was the question. It was predicated on that. But yes, I was just looking for an opportunity to try to have some fun, figure out if you're hand building some lineups, trying to give some people some important things. I don't know if you know, but we're talking about one game, so thought it would be enjoyable. But this is more enjoyable, Greg. BetMGM is offering everybody there in the chat, all 1.3K of you beautiful people, just $10 on the NBA money line tonight. If a three-pointer is made, you're going to win $200. Greg, how likely is it compared to PJ Tucker being in the captain spot as opposed to an NBA player hitting a three-pointer tonight?
Well, I mean, it's tough because I know you're really high on PJ Tucker today and he's your favorite play on the slate. So it's tough to say. I mean, free money is free money, but it's PJ Tucker, notorious stud fantasy producer.
Oh my God. I was just trying to get different in one lineup. Just building out one lineup in a 3 max. And I thought it looked interesting to try to do it. 35 points from him. Maybe you get limited minutes out of other guys, whatever. But here's what you do. You go over to BetMGM, sign up over at their book. Use LBL bets when you sign up. That is promo code LBL bets, lowercase. Put that in, bet $10. You'll win $200. That's 4 free $50 bets when a three-pointer is made. Doesn't get any easier than that. So take advantage of that. Then put those 4 $50 bets to work. Looking at a lot of basketball, a lot of MLB stuff, tons of content here at Awesemo to help you have that money go to work for you. Head to oddshopper.com, take some of the bets from there in the MLB, NHL, golf, and of course, NBA streets. So take advantage of it. LBL bets is the promo code at BetMGM. They're the best. Check it out. Let's continue on. I'm going to make our way down the utility board here, and I'm looking at Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, all those guys. I don't really know what we're supposed to say. They all really project out nicely, but we start falling into this mid-range. Max Strus is starting to disappear from a lot of my builds. I thought I was going to get to more of him. Do you think he can continue the play that we saw towards the end of that Philadelphia series? Because if he does, I'm in a lot of trouble tonight.
Can I ask you an important question?
Yes.
The best hitting pitcher of all time, Shohei Ohtani, Michael Lorenzen, or PJ Tucker? I just need to know.
Why are you such a dickhead? You're just a dickhead at this point. I'm a dunderhead. You're a dickhead. Like, I mean, why?
Maybe. I don't know. I just want an answer. Which one?
You just want an answer.
I actually don't know if enough people watch our baseball and basketball shows to know what I'm talking about.
I can't hear you.
I don't believe you. I bet you could hear.
I see your lips moving, but I can't understand the words. I'm deaf.
By the way, you actually sounded, I don't know if it was intentional, but you sounded a lot like Bobby Boucher.
I can't remember what that's from, but I think it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Wow. Well, it sounded like Bobby.
Oh, it's from Billy Madison, I think.
Oh, all right. Close enough.
Whatever.
Close enough.
100% of my lineups are Tucker. Enjoy your night, not winning, whatever. Ultimate.
Oh, by the way, what was the question?
This is just
what was the question?
HR violation. If anybody has an HR violation over the course of the year of these shows, it is me. By the way,
actually, in fairness, it's EMAC. It's the things I've said about EMAC.
But they're usually complimentary and a little aggressive. Hashtag Christmas, but whatever. We're looking at Butler, Vincent, Strus, Tucker, Adebayo. That is your starting lineup. Everybody looks normal. We have no problems there. I love you too. 80 Poker 89. I love you too. Why does Eric? I don't like PJ Tucker so much. I just said, God, Greg, you've ruined the show already. I have to do 59 more minutes of this with you.
Well, the other option is we could just talk about the 8 players we have to talk about on the slate for an hour and a half.
I know. I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing the best that I can.
I am too. I'm working hard.
I just asked, is Max Strus somebody that you have circled in Sharpie as a decent play on this slate?
We do also have I texted you this before. I don't know if you saw, we have the NBA draft lottery coming up too. So we could react to that.
Ooh, well, speaking of, we got a super chat and I thought I would bring that one up here too while we're at it.
While you're pulling that up, it's going to be a disaster. This game is going to start way late, probably because they're going to be talking about the stupid NBA draft lottery. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk a lot of other things. Prize picks. We have plenty of other things. I'm not worried about the after. It's more of the 28 minutes where people have questions, and I mean, it just makes sense. I'm trying to find ways to get very, very different from you. This is exponentially more difficult now with all the value that exists here. To get really difficult, you're rostering a guy like Robert Williams and you're skipping one of Butler, Brown, or Tatum in a lineup. Like, I can't imagine that that's not the route to get really, really different where you leave tons of salary on the table. Max Strus. Boy, it's hard for me to advocate for Strus on this slate. I understand he had some big games in the last series. And I mean, the final 2 games, he won GPPs for people. The final game against Philly, he scored 43 fantasy points. The game before that, he scored 36. We also still have Kyle Lowry out. But at the same point, too, like, is he going to continue to shoot? What happened?
Jordan Klein, the poll is just epic trolling again. Your guys, this is honestly, it's 2 versus 1 every day. I feel like this is my childhood.
No. It is absolutely not 2 versus 1. We have how many viewers are in right now?
More than what we probably deserve at this point.
Okay, so whatever it is, we got 2,000 concurrent viewers, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we got a nice level. It just went to 1.2 as I said that. That's hilarious.
Okay. So it's 1,202 against 1, if we're being exact in terms of what the numbers are here.
Carlos Manzo, I'm timing you out. You told me to calm down. No, I won't do that. You're an important part of this community. I apologize. I'm in the wrong. Whatever. Yeah, Max Strus. Again, these guys are garnering a lot of attention. I get it. It's one game, 29% Tyler Hero, 32%, but I'm just going to take the Celtics side of it. Although Depot's at 15%, I don't have a share of Victor. I do not have a share of Victor Oladipo whatsoever today. I don't understand quite what's going on in some of the ownership projections with them, so we're just going to avoid them. I hope a lot of people play Horford and Smart, and we get some rake cutback coming back into our pockets. People have been better and better about that, but it's a 1-game slate. I bet there's a couple of people who set it and forget it over the course of the day, so that could be fun. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we would have a chance if this was not the Eastern Conference Finals and if the news didn't come out so long ago.
Yeah. It's true. But also, yeah, you get the public money. I don't know. I bet in the $20, it's not anything prominent, but I bet as you go down in stakes, there's an opportunity to maybe get 5%, 6% of people who play Smart and or Horford together.
I mean, if we had, because you and I like to guess ownership.
We do.
What would you guess the ownership in the $20 is on Smart and Horford individually? It's probably going to be about the same number.
I'll go 0.8% on both.
Okay. I would take a slight under on that, but I would not be unhappy if that's what we get from them.
Yeah. I think that seems about right. It'll be less than 1% on them in the $20, but I bet 0. Erica 0 the depot time to load up. Good one. Oh my God. Good one.
Yeah. By the way, I don't like Victor Oladipo either. So the last 2 games,
I'm gonna have my wife deliver me wine. I'm sending her a message. This is just
nice. Yeah. Ask her if she could print out some more papers while she's there also.
Yeah, some divorce legal documents just in the background, holding and carrying out my dog. Without a doubt, she's one of the people in the YouTube chat right now who's just trolling you. Yeah. Honestly, you guys have spent enough time with me after hours when I get off Zooms. Anything that's happening here does not compare to how much I get made fun of on a day-to-day basis in my own household.
Yeah. Well, part of it you do bring it on yourself by hanging out with Jordan and myself after the shows end, but Yeah, I do get the sense that you like to be around people that make fun of you, which
I
I'm the
do.
same way.
If you can't make fun of yourself, if you can't have people make fun of you, what's the point of life? You have to be able to have that camaraderie, because then that's how you know who your real friends are. If somebody's like really straightforward and polite to me and stuff, then I probably am not that close to them. It's an interesting thing about me.
I've brought this up before when we do it. Like, to me, compliments, like if you compliment somebody, you've got,
you hate it. Greg, you're really sharp. You're so smart when it comes to futures betting. And Jordan Klein, you're such a good work son to your work daddy.
I don't like how you changed your voice when you did that either. I don't like how you went into a weird character.
I did.
Anyway, I don't like Victor Oladipo for this slate either. He's been priced up, and once again, he's played well beyond what anybody's expectations should have been for him in the playoffs. He's had some individually really good games, and he's had a high usage rate at times when he's been on the court. It's just hard to project the minutes to be there for him when the final 2 games in the series against the Sixers, he played 18 and 20 minutes.
All right. Well, we're going to read your super chats here. Teddy Wayman, I saw it. I'm bringing it up here. Justin Alberto first, $2 plus 3,700 New York to win the lottery in case the NBA rigs it? ? That is for you. I have no idea. Minnesota, for once, I don't have to sweat the ping pong balls. First time in forever.
Okay, so if you had been betting with this, I'm about to pull up some information. That's why I'm looking down, because Adam Schefter tweeted this out a little while ago, and he got Knicks fans really upset. If you are under the impression that the NBA is rigging the draft lottery for the Knicks, and this has been something that you have bet on over the last period of time, the Knicks have gone 17 consecutive draft lotteries without moving up ahead of their projected draft slot.
What?
Yep. They have not done it since the Patrick Ewing draft.
You're kidding me.
Nope, not since the Patrick Ewing draft have the Knicks moved up on their draft slot. So the reason it's only 17 or 18 in a row, I forget what the number is, because believe it or not, there's been times the Knicks have made the playoffs in between where they weren't in the lottery. But yeah, ever since the Patrick Ewing draft, the Knicks have not had one draft where they moved ahead of their draft slot. So that doesn't mean anything. They're ping pong balls. It's randomness. But if anything, it should kind of debunk the point that the NBA is rigging the draft lottery for the Knicks.
I guess not. Well, I did not know that fact. That is absurd. Of course, Adam Schefter bringing us the important news. Just don't ask him to do your
eulogy.
Eulogy. Yeah. I was trying to think of which one I wanted to say. And then, eulogy. Probably not the best eulogist on planet Earth. Aiden S, $5. We appreciate you. Bam and Oladipo or Brown and Tucker. Doesn't have a site listed, but I think it's going to be the same for me either way. Brown and Tucker season, because I want nothing to do with that dirty rat Victor Oladipo.
Yeah. By the way, if Adam Schefter did an intro to this show, it would be Greg and Eric, neither of whom have won a Millionaire Maker, about to give you guys DFS advice.
That's so funny. Oh, that's actually very, very funny. Neil Arfield, Millie Maker. Alex Baker, now Millie Maker. Not us. Peasants.
Not us.
Not you or me, pal. But yeah, if I had to go with one of those two, the second one, we're avoiding Oladipo. Are we on the same page there?
Yeah. And by the way, for people asking how to differentiate on this, leave salary on the table.
Yes, that is
leave salary on the table. That's a very reasonable way to differentiate. So, like, for instance, you were asking me about Max Strus before, and I had said that it's hard for me to get to Strus. Here's the reason why. At his elevated price point, I have him projected lower than Robert Williams and Derek White. I have a feeling if a lot of people are getting to a point where it's like, hey, I have a utility spot, I have $7,000 left, they're probably clicking on Strus just because of the salary before they're clicking on Robert Williams or Derek White. Like, that's a situation where I would just play White or Williams ahead of Strus.
That is exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to the bottom end and leaving some salary on the table. I mean, I'm going through my lineups. This is 49. My best lineup, $49,000, 48,800, 47,600, 48,400, 47,900. This is like my top projected lineups. Like, within my top 20, those are the kind of numbers that are popping up. So it's pretty insane what you can do just by leaving some salary on the table. I recommend doing, if you're hand building, do not zero anything out today for the love of all that is good and righteous. Let's see. Did I miss another super chat? Somebody else that I didn't see had a super chat.
I think Teddy Wayman left us one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I saw that he said that. I don't see it anywhere. Jordan, did I miss something? want to make sure that I'm taking care of everybody on a 1-game slate. There's no reason that we can't. We have 20 minutes here until lock. We have so much left to discuss. Well, we don't have a whole heck of a lot else to discuss other than what our lineups look like. And I think that that'll be kind of a good way to round out everything in the last 10 minutes. Talk about how much ownership we have going towards certain guys. Talk about what we expect from this series and this game. I know what you're cheering for. I'm cheering for you at this point. I had Milwaukee futures, not much, but a little bit. I was happy, though, knowing what you had at stake, that you got through the finish line. And now fingers crossed here for game 1, game 2. Maybe you can sneak one of those out. But great shows, fellas. I'm out. Oh, that's sad, Shark Killer. We're going to miss you. But
also, I mean, by the way, I did bet the Heat in game 1 when Horford and Marcus Smart got rolled out.
Well,
so
we're both
I don't
on the
even
same
know what
page,
so the other thing also, and you asked me, like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to root for. Like, I have no clue.
I mean, it's directly in relation to you have 100. Yeah, Jordan Klein, you can't find it. I couldn't find it either. So
I know he left one.
Oh, I never saw it. I have everything from before the show because I was watching. What's up?
Teddy said, thanks for all the content. Something along these lines. Thanks for all the content and cheers to everyone. So
thanks for all the content and cheers. Oh, it wasn't a super chat. It was the team member badge that he had come through. That's what it was. I saw that. Appreciate you. And obviously Craig, myself, we love you. Oliver Closeoff. Yes. I always just say the name now because I don't give in. Flying F, $1.99. Latest Amber Heard thoughts.
So I didn't realize this was still ongoing. Earlier in the day, I was doing a show and people were saying that that the show was during the baseball show I was doing with Matt LaMarca this morning, and somebody in chat, was it Steven Leibowitz, maybe one of our regulars? I wish I could credit who it was. Had said that our time slot was conflicting with the Amber Heard testimony, and I was like, "How could this still be going on? Like this has been like a month now of this nonsense, and the numbers on YouTube are ridiculous. Like I've totally given up following at this point. But I went on YouTube the other day, and it just shows up for me, and it's like 600,000 concurrent viewers. I'm like, what? Like I've never seen a number that big before. Like the only thing I've seen that was around that mark was like Joe Rogan live streaming the election. Like other than that, like the 2 biggest concurrent views I've ever seen on YouTube have been the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and Joe Rogan streaming the election.
Yeah, it's been wild and it's been all over the place. Don't read the comment section, whatever you do, everybody. Don't have an opinion. We have no idea. But also, it's just really, really weird, these 2 people. It's very interesting to hear her casually talk about her salary, too. Oh, yeah, I made $3 million for this. I might have gotten some back end. I don't know. It's like, you don't know that you had $3 million plus another million or something. It's very fascinating when you get to that level of wealth, just how much stuff is absurd. But I continue on. Those are our Amber Heard thoughts for the day. Probably more than anybody else wanted. Go ahead.
To bring up the other thing also is, how attractive do you have to be for somebody to put up with you shitting on their side of the bed? Like that's been my other, that's the last thing I heard when I was still following whatever was going on. But before then, I've kind of been out since then. I'll have to catch up because apparently this is what we're going to be asked about on shows now.
Well, we have 16 minutes before we get to that. PrizePicks. Hey, nothing like Amber Heard shitting on the bed into PrizePicks. That's 2 very opposite things because we love PrizePicks. Really fun site. You should sign up and play there, doing 2 things. Using promo code Awesemo to get $100 first match deposit bonus, plus getting that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum just by signing up and playing. And hey, even if you've never played over there before, we have the tools and content at OddsShopper to take care of you. Head to the Parlay Builder, which now has directly built into it PrizePicks. It has it for MLB, NBA, and NHL. We also have golf bets that are available over at OddsShopper. And with the PGA Championship, I know I'm going to be firing some PrizePicks up over there. And I think you should too. Check out the strategy show I did earlier today with our friend Ben Raza. Also, he'll be on with Jason Rosling tomorrow, giving you guys all the breakdown for the PGA. But use all of their expertise and put it to work at PrizePicks. So many different offers, cross-sport parlays, so many different opportunities to make money over there. 2, 3, 4, or 5 player parlays. You put them together. What do you got? Bibbity bobbity boo is what you've got. You have an opportunity to make lots and lots of money. Yes, Jordan Klein. That was a Disney reference just for you. Shout out Anaheim, California. But Greg, what stands out to you on the PrizePicks board for the NBA streets tonight?
Yeah, so let me pull it up because once again, these things move throughout the course of the day, and you never know what could have changed during the time that we've done the show. But current numbers over at PrizePicks. By the way, I do think we could incorporate into the show the Amber Heard play of the day. Who's going to shit the bed the hardest? Because we did have Green Checkmark asked in the chat. Which player shits the bed in tonight's game, and I think that could be the Amber Heard play of the day, and it has to be Victor Oladipo for us, right?
We can't do that. Like, I think that's asking for legal trouble in the back end. I don't know if you know this, Greg. She's unhinged.
Phrasing.
Oh, always phrasing with me. I don't even know what I said, but now I'll go back and watch it because you like it.
He said that could cause legal issues on the back end. Victor Oladipo, anyway. That's the Amber Heard play.
That is the correct. That is the 0% play of the day for me. Victor Oladipo plays well. You will not see me win a damn thing. That is for sure.
And you know what's fun about this series just repeating, where it's going to be the same game every other day, is we could pick Victor Oladipo as the Amber Heard shit the bed play of the day every other day
until he's 1K, and then we have to make stands. Somebody also said Gabe Vincent starting. We always expected Gabe Vincent to start. Why would that have changed? Gabe Vincent has been my boy for so long. That being said, I don't have very much of him. I have 15% today, which is low when he's coming in pretty owned.
Realistically, other than situations like Boston where guys are getting ruled out, it's everybody's going to start the same lineups they've been playing the entire playoffs. And the only time that the Heat had that game where they started Victor Oladipo was because Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry were out. In every other situation, it's kind of been the same.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to be really, really sad when Gabe Vincent is in the optimal. He's not in my main lineup on DK. I have one main lineup. It's got Robert Williams, a captain. We're going to get different. I'm going to just take that and try to make it a thing. And then my two other secondary ones, I have some Daniel Tice exposure because I'm kind of trying to have both sides of that one. Whatever happens with center, hopefully it's not split down the middle for the love of all that's good and righteous. That would be brutal. But we continue on. Let's round out this show. And thank you so much to PrizePicks. What is your favorite PrizePicks prop for the day?
So let's see. Favorite PrizePicks. I'm scrolling through all the numbers right now.
Gotta be maybe Victor Oladipo. What's his fantasy score at? We could just short it flat out.
His props
18,
are fairly low.
It's pretty efficient.
It's efficient. But like, good reason also that we don't want to be playing Victor Oladipo on Fanduel or Draftkings today is that he is an over-under on PrizePicks at 18 fantasy points. For other guys, by the way, there are numbers up for tomorrow's Dallas Golden State Warriors game as well. But let's go with the same number we liked before. I know it's a little bit higher when we talked before that Jaylen Brown over rebounds, but over 6 rebounds over on PrizePicks, I could get behind that. Like we said at the top of the show, I think he's going to play a bunch of minutes. Should help his counting stats at.
Grant Williams, fantasy score 18.5. That is very, very low. And I'm not saying that he's going to go and repeat anything close to what we saw last game out. He's had a lot of these massive shooting performances, but he just went from guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo as a primary defender there for an entire series and still found ways to have some fantasy success. I think 18.5 is simply too low. Hard for me to land on a ton in DFS purposes simply because of his prices on DK and on FanDuel. But I do have him projected for 23.5 fantasy points today. And I think that stands out. You get that 5-point buffer. I'm more than happy to fire up some Grant Williams starting here. Not that Jimmy Butler's some easier assignment, but I bet it's going to be the trio of Tatum, Brown, Williams that end up in that pick and roll without a bio. And they have to do some type of work there. But it'll be more of a team situation rather than Grant Williams, who is the only guy capable of even getting close to bodying up Giannis. A little bit different in this series.
Yep. I totally, that's a very low number on the fantasy points there for Williams. I also have him projected over that number.
JD Martinez home run.
Yeah, of course. Is there one for
stupid?
So 27 fantasy points for Robert Williams. I wouldn't touch that. I'm too uncertain about what his minutes are going to look like. What did you project him for playing time?
Grant Williams?
No, Robert Williams.
Oh, Robert Williams. So this is really kind of a cop out, but I didn't project him for minutes today. I played one set of minutes. I played one projection that would basically be he plays 32 minutes, and I have one that's for 18 because I don't want to be. I'm just taking the extreme perspective where I think he plays a lot more than what people think he does, and that he's an absolute smash play here. And then game 2 comes around and everybody's going to jam him a lot, and I'll probably have less. I hope his price goes up in those kind of standpoints. But I already said, I think Daniel Tice, I have a couple of those lineups and I'm playing in some bigger stuff just to have some type of not hedge exposure, because I think there's ways that they can both work out optimally, but I'm more inclined to believe that Robert Williams is a smash today.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him 28 minutes and still ended up getting to him in a bunch of lineups. So I think he's kind of unavoidable. But I was just kind of curious because I do think there's a wide range of outcomes with his minutes. But here's the thing. Even if you project him on the low end, I think he looks fairly good today.
Yeah, he's got 27 for a fantasy score on PrizePicks. Look at his price on DK and FanDuel and tell me how you don't play more than 40% of him. Like, how do you not?
You just do it. You play him.
You do that. He's the anti-Amber Heard, not shitting the bed play of the day is what we're hoping. Tariq Cohen diagnosed with a torn Achilles. That video was brutal today too. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't watch it. I'm aware of what had happened just because so many people were mentioning it on Twitter. So my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is like third hand just from reading tweets, is so he's coming back from a torn ACL. He's doing rehab. He was doing some sort of agility drills and he's live streaming it on this idea of, hey, look, guys, I'm on the path back to recovery, and he pops his Achilles while doing it. Is that more or less correct?
That is correct. It's the most horrifically ironic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah. Unfortunate.
You know, even as a Vikings fan, watching him just rack up ridiculous yardage against the Vikings out of the backfield, just a little dude. He was fun to watch. All right. 8 minutes to go here. Anybody else that you're getting to in any kind of a meaningful amount that we haven't touched on? I don't know how you don't play a lot of Peyton Pritchard even. He just works out as a value piece who has to play more minutes. Is there anybody that you, maybe they're not the Amber Heard situation, but anybody else that you want to be shorting on the bottom end, or somebody else that you really want to get to a lot more than the field of?
Do you prefer Peyton Pritchard or Daniel Tice? I personally get to Tice more.
I get to Tice a lot more.
Okay.
But I think Peyton Pritchard's, he's unavoidable. I still have 34% of him.
I agree. I think Pritchard's a good option too. I was just curious because I know there's a lot of people that are going to be building one lineup and are saying, hey, do I save salary with Daniel Tice or Peyton Pritchard? I prefer Tice.
Yep. 42% Tice. So, I mean, not an extreme a lot more, but again, he's also in terms of point per dollar, just because he's in 2 of my bigger lineups on the slate today for DraftKings FanDuel purposes. I just like Tice a little bit more.
Yeah. As for other guys,
a lot of talk about Neesmith. I am not playing Aaron Neesmith.
No.
There's not a chance in Green Earth. I keep seeing that name, and I don't know what we're looking at. I mean, you need a lot of foul trouble, and you need a lot of blowout to probably have him become viable.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think Neesmith is going to be in the rotation today.
We haven't projected for 11 and a half minutes at Awesemo. I think that's all right because there's paths without Marcus Smart for him to get on the floor. But Pritchard, I think, has like earned the opportunity to at least play those minutes. He's not a phenomenal, like he's a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy. So that's, I mean, decent enough for the season. But this is also game 1 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals we're talking about here. This is not some regular season game where he's going to get court time without Brown and Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just see a really condensed Boston rotation, of course, barring blowout, because if I'm not mistaken, the most minutes Neesmith's played in the playoffs is something like 2. But
I will tell you. 2 is the right answer.
I mean, I've said this before. I think the Celtics play a 7-man rotation. I think they go with Tyson Pritchard off the bench, and the starters just play a bunch. Here's where Neesmith could get into the rotation. Is Robert Williams going to be limited? Because then they just have no choice. Like, I don't think it's advisable to go play Daniel Tice 30 minutes. But, you know, short of Robert Williams, so Robert Williams being severely limited, foul trouble, or a blowout. Those are really the scenarios. Like, I don't think Boston all of a sudden goes, hey, we're playing like Nick Stauskas, Aaron Neesmith, and Luke Kornet minutes. I mean, because we've seen them shorthanded in the playoffs. They just play a condensed rotation. We've seen them run a 7-man rotation.
Greg, any guess who got the number 1 pick in the draft tonight?
Oh, I totally, I have no clue. It would be funny if it was the Knicks after what I said before.
The Orlando Magic are the number 1 drafters.
Okay.
2022 NBA draft. The Oklahoma City Thunder are second. Sam Presti, what a god. What god mode he is in. The Rockets third, Kings fourth, Pistons fifth. You can read down that list, but my god, the Orlando Magic running pretty pure.
Shit. So I actually had something that I wanted to bring up after the draft, but here we go. All right. We still have odds for the number one overall pick. So here's one thing I think happens with the Magic getting the pick. Does this take Chet Holmgren out of the mix? Like they're not going to.
Yes, it does. They're not going to have Mo Bamba alongside Wendell Carter Jr. No way.
So either a trade or Chet Holmgren's off the mound. I think that probably makes Jabari Smith a good bet for the first overall pick.
I would 100% agree with that. Especially because Jalen Suggs more an off the ball guard. I know the assist rate was pretty high this season, but I don't think I think of Jalen Suggs more as a 2 in the NBA long term.
Yeah, but I mean more so than anything. I guess there's Boncaro could be the number one pick.
He has so much utility to a lot of people, but I don't see how he goes 1. That would be absurd.
But I would just say shorting the market on Chet Holmgren makes sense to me now. I'm not sure exactly what the best odds are with that. I think most books had Jabari Smith somewhere around even money to go first overall. I could dig that as far as value goes.
Well, we will be revisiting that in the after hours because we'll have plenty of time, my friend. Let's do this for the people because I know a lot of people hand built. You've built out your lineups. I think you know what to do. Leave salary on the table. Get to some different spots, but for the most part, tell me your 3 most popular plays in the captain spot and utility spot on DraftKings today.
All right. So for all together or individually?
All together. So top 3 captains and top 3 utility. I'm assuming there's probably some overlap just because they're all going to be mostly the studs, but anything that meaningfully showed up in your exposures.
Sure. So for captain, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, that really shouldn't come as any surprise. And then as utilities, Derek White, Robert Williams, and could I double dip and mention somebody else? Or
yes, go right ahead.
All right, Jason Tatum also on DK. For FanDuel, at MVP, Tatum and Butler, then kind of goes the same for the other spots. Although once we get to the pro spot, I think you could start considering Robert Williams or Derek White. Yep. There's pretty substantial upside there. As utility guys, it's Robert Williams and Derek White in a landslide.
Yeah, Robert Williams in the pro is what I am praying for because I've got the Butler Tatum MVP star back and forth quite a bit. Hard for me to want to build anywhere in that mid-range with any other Heat players. I'm looking through my 25 lineups over there. I only have 2 lineups that have 2 Heat players. It's pretty insane when you think about it.
Lineups.
Bam just ended up he kind of became a forgotten guy for me a little bit. He's 12K over there. I get it, but it was hard for me not to at 15.5. I could still fit Butler and Jaylen Brown into lineups pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, I'm just looking through kind of what the best value plays are. At first, when you think about it, I'd be like, boy, that seems like a lot of exposure to one side of the game, but it's a 1-game slate and all of the value is on one of the teams.
Tice, 42% on DK. I'd already said that before to somebody who just asked that in chat. Jay Lopez, best of luck to you. Best of luck to me. Best of luck to Greg, especially above all else. Jordan Klein, thank you so much behind the virtual glass. These were good times, but we're not going anywhere. What's wrong with you? Dude, bro, like what, bro, dude? What? Chill, like, bro. Oh, okay. That was very anticlimactic. You didn't go hot for the mic, did you? No, that's sad. You need to talk to the people.
You know that just because your mic is off, like mouthing words, it doesn't.
I'm Jordan Klein. If it's not a fucking $500 dinner, he's not interested.
To you, but I don't know if that came across.
If it's not a $500 dinner that he's not paying for, he doesn't care about anything. That's all he wants. Adam Scherer, can't wait to see you out here in Los Angeles, California. Dude, bro, like, chill. We're going to get together. We're going to kick it. It's going to be fun. But we're at Lock, everybody. This is a fun show. I think we just kind of needed to make it entertaining, have some fun, because there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of fun stuff. It's a 1-game slate, but we can do a guess that ownership type deal because that's always fun. I think that's a fun way to jump off to the deep end here with this slate for sure. And also, I want to talk NBA draft. I think that is a very important thing to go through. I love the more that I've gotten into this job too, and maybe it's just because Josh does such a phenomenal job at the trade deadline. That show specifically is probably my favorite that we put on here at Awesemo. It's just Josh talking through salary cap implications, which nobody knows jack shit about. They just make up trades like, oh, we're going to trade Russell Westbrook because he's not playing well. Well, look, good luck finding a dance partner for that one. It's just enjoyable. But I love looking at team constructions and what a Sam Presti's doing there in Oklahoma City. Whoever takes over the Lakers, how they're going to get out of that debacle. So many fun things going on in the NBA right now. And I think there's some value that we could find in the NBA draft market, similar to the NFL draft market, which was an absolute blast. Hopefully you joined me in the wide receivers and SEC players props. Those were good. Those were really
By the
good.
way, do you know how the Lakers are going to get out of the situation? They're going to hire a coach and then package last year's issues as an issue with the coach and not with Russell Westbrook, and they'll just bring him back.
Sharp.
That's what I think.
All right. Well, my friend, here we are. I have captain ownerships for some very popular basketball players. Oh my God, Robert Williams. We're starting with him.
So we're only guessing captain ownership.
Captain ownership.
All right. I don't know. 8%.
11.5%. People, don't do what I'm doing. God, it's frustrating. I just played a lot of Robert Williams captain. That's sad. Jason Tatum.
30%.
17%
Wow.
in the $20. That is way too damn low. Wow. The flavors. Wow.
All right. So I have
Wilson.
no clue what to expect from the rest of this now.
Those two are wonky. Like
The 11% for Robert Williams isn't crazy. 17% for Tatum is.
that is so bad. If I had known that, this is why you just play the top projected guys in the captain spot. What a lesson. What a lesson in life. Alex Baker preaches this all the time. Jason Tatum is 17%. Jimmy Butler, you want to guess that one?
No, I want to guess PJ Tucker.
Oh no. I have to find one with him in it in the $20. I didn't play him in the $20.
All right, PJ Tucker.
We're gonna find it. I found it. Found the captain.
We're about to find out. We're about to find out how influential Eric Lindquist is.
Just an influencer of the markets on PJ Tucker in the captain
so
spot.
because I'm a believer in Eric Lindquist, 45% PJ Tucker.
You're such a dick. Give me an honest answer.
1%.
Carlos Manzo. Oh my God. Sorry, no. 0.8%. You highballed it. 0.8% in the captain spot. Telling you, that's the nutties today, fam. That's the nutties. Oh my God. Dwayne Dedmon ownership period.
So you know what makes this hard is that I don't know if I knew Robert Williams, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, then I would know Dedmon, but I don't know, 10% Dedmon?
7.9%. He was projected for like 30% this morning or 25%. I think.
Well, that was because that was when we didn't think we were going to have value.
Well, I know why, Greg. Yeah, I'm aware.
Please. It doesn't know how ownership
Jordan
works.
Klein like that when he's like, oh,
people
shit.
played. People played different guys.
That's crazy. Al Horford ownership.
1%.
1.4%. So the overhit on the 0.8% per player.
That is so. Marcus Smart has to be about the same, man.
I'm going to try to find a smart lineup. Again, I'm just scrolling through these.
I bet you won't find a smart lineup with Smart.
These little lemmings. But 1.4% is quite a bit for Horford in the $20. I don't know if those people know, but thank you for the donation to the DraftKings Millionaire Maker Fund for, everybody else in the future here. I cannot find a Marcus Smart lineup, but while I continue, I did find a Grant Williams lineup. Just give me his regular ownership.
Ooh, so Grant Williams regular ownership. So generally, he's been way more popular than I would have expected, Grant Williams, and he's coming off a game where he shot a ton. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, 38%.
27.9%. It's pretty
all right.
low.
So my recency bias thing is going out the window when it comes to Showdown.
This is absurd. What happened, Greg, is people played the salary game because they're building by hand in places, or they want to use up their salary cap. They put a limit on it, or they did something ridiculous they shouldn't have done because Max Strus ownership go.
Well, he was projected to be popular.
I know.
25%.
I think I just clicked off. I found Marcus Smart. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
I mean, I'm still
0.8% for Marcus Smart.
Oh, so here's what
On the
confuses me
number.
though. How does Al Horford, and I know that
He didn't have a
splitting-
Q mark next to his name earlier.
Well, he was marked
Marcus
as
Smart
out.
did.
But how does? Oh, okay, that's fair enough. I was gonna say, how does Marcus Smart end up? How does Al Horford end up with double the ownership of Marcus Smart? But that's a reasonable explanation.
Aaron Judge, second homer of the day. This slate is bonkers. So the chalkiest one off next. Duncan Robinson ownership.
Well, here's a good way to find out. If Joey Corman's watching, Joey, how many lineups did he play?
He would have had to have played roughly 1,500 lineups because he's 2.3% in a tournament of 35,000 entries. So,
all right. Yeah. So, wow, Joey played a lot of lineups today.
Yeah. 1.4% for Al Horford, that and 0.2% in the captains. So I think that doesn't count to the cumulative ownership. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because Jimmy Butler, 23.2% captain ownership and 85.3% total.
By the way, Kyle Tucker just did a grand slam. It's 13-3.
Two highest owned batters, Jordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. It's a great day. It's a great day, fam. What are you doing? You just put me on a one shot to see me get excited, Jordan Klein?
All right, Eric, you don't need to give yourself a heart attack for the people's entertainment. I mean, you could.
You cut it to Greg. You didn't even cut it to me. I was trying to give you a good shot.
You know what we need to do? We need to get you hooked up to one of those. What the hell is it called? Is it just a heart rate monitor? What's the tech?
I have a heart rate monitor. Yeah, I have a heart rate monitor. I also have my little Apple Watch that I could do.
Is it one that beeps? Because I want to be able to hook you up during the show, and then we've got shit to do.
You want a shot collar? Do you want a shot collar for me? Is that what you're asking?
No. I want to hook you up to a heart monitor, and then we could see how your heart rate changes when you get worked up during shows.
You're talking about a Whoop, is what you want. Those heart rate monitors.
A heart rate monitor.
I know that, but that's the specific one that like Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, a lot of golfers wear.
I want one like they use in the hospital where we hook you up to it. It's behind you, and it's going like beep, 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 and then like something happens, like Paul George scratch, like beep, 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 and like everything goes crazy.
It'd be pretty entertaining, not just for you, but probably for me too. I think I'd enjoy it. He wants to see your vitals when you freak out. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I knew we were friends, Greg. But all right, let's talk NBA draft because that's pretty fun. What do you want?
We didn't do Max Strus's ownership, did we?
Did we? 23.4%, I thought is what I saw, but I got to find it again because obviously he's not in my lineups.
Yeah. So because I had because you had asked me to guess Max Strus, I'd guessed 25, and then you were like, "Oh, I found a lineup with Al Horford," and so we went down that.
Finally,
path.
did yeah. It was Marcus Smart, 0.8%.
Yeah,
hit my exact number. Gabe Vincent, 21.8%. Again, it's hard to find a lineup for a guy that I'm pretty sure I saw. Oh, I just had it. Max Strus is, where'd it go? Son of a biscuit, man. Where is he? Found it. 23.4%. I had it. There's that.
By the way, if anyone played baseball today, Kettle Marte was just scratched.
Oh, thank you. I ended up playing a lot of that Dodger-Arizona game on DK because I thought it'd be completely unowned. No lineups out yet. That was great. And Edwin Rios, please go yard. I left money on the table. Great idea, IO22. Great idea. But let's talk NBA draft because, again, we got the draft order. And I think that that's always a fun thing is figuring how the puzzle pieces fit and hoping that you don't have a team trade back like they do in the NFL draft. But of late, other than the Luka Doncic year, which is just so ironic, you haven't seen a whole lot of number ones trading out of that spot. Like, I'm pretty sure Chet Holmgren is going to go to OKC at 2. Like, that has to be the spot for him now.
Probably. I haven't seen any books that have odds for the second overall pick. By the way, I did just see FanDuel had Jabari Smith at even money to go first overall. They took down the odds and just reposted. Now it's minus 130. DK still is minus 105 up. So if you're just from a line shopping perspective, that would indicate some good value in Jabari Smith. DK has not updated their lines yet. I would recommend go betting him at minus 105 there.
Yeah, I'm going to find, where is that at? NBA draft. There we go. Found it. Jamari Smith. I really don't want to take a shot on anybody else on the board at 1 right now. Like that's it.
Big shoppa. Nobody picked those guys. Robert Williams or Al Horford? Robert Williams or I don't even know who he's talking about. Which guys?
I don't know, but this is an ESPN start. Sure is. Waiting for the 17 mark.
Well, but here's the other issue too, is that they have the NBA draft to push before then, which is a big thing for ESPN. Right. So they might not even start the game by the time we're done with this.
Pain and suffering you are. A little bit of that. He liked my Yoda. Put that in the category of things Greg liked from me. There's certain bits. Thank you. Yeah. I was going to say, because I have some
you do a good Yoda impression.
That was like, that was allergic or stuffed with allergies. Yoda had like the
that's Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, it was Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do another Star. I was trying to do another Star Wars.
I liked it. Okay, now it made sense. I thought you were backing up the Yoda.
No. I'm trying to do.
That was a good.
More
that was better
than
than my Jar Jar. That's for sure.
There isn't really any other Star Wars characters to do impressions of, is there? Yeah, but that's just breathing.
It is, but you got to be very specific with it, though. There's a certain cadence. That's pretty good. I don't know. Ewan McGregor. No, not really. I would have to hear it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I haven't heard him do it forever, but that Star Wars trailer looks sick. Let's be serious, bro. Dude, bro, chill. We're gonna do bro chill during that, aren't we?
Do you sorry, I had to drink water.
Rinpack just asked who wins the series. Heat.
At this point, I would have to say the Heat, just because actually that brings up an interesting point. I'm curious who, because I'd looked before, there weren't updated lines for the series, and there still isn't. I thought maybe there'd be updated lines for the series. I never saw a book post updated lines after the Celtics news today. Let's see. Oh, here we go. DraftKings did update them. They've Celtics minus 155.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Boy, am I tempted to hedge right now, but
I was going to say that's pretty good.
Not
let's see. Oh, Big shoppa. If you didn't play all your salary on DraftKings, you're effed. Mr. Madison, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Yeah.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
If you think the only way to win at Showdown is to use 100% of the salary, sir, you are mistaken.
Wrong. You are wrong, sir.
And I mean, that's the easiest way to differentiate. The easiest way to differentiate is leave salary on the table. And I'm not saying you have to leave $10,000 of salary on the table. You could leave some salary on the table. Like I said before, I had Derek White and Robert Williams both projected for more fantasy points than Max Strus, and he was quite a bit more expensive than them. And that's not a crazy take. I would assume most people probably had those guys projected for more fantasy points than Strus. I understand Strus was good the last couple of games, but just think of it from a value perspective. Derek White is starting in place of Marcus Smart. Robert Williams, maybe we don't want to say the terminology is starting in place of Al Horford, but he's starting. Al Horford is out, and I assume they probably would have started Grant Williams and Al Horford in the front court had Al Horford been able to play. So no, it's totally reasonable to leave salary on the table.
I read what it said, and I couldn't believe it said what it said. But anyway, Rinpack wants to know, Eric, Greg, Jordan, who wins the series? So Jordan, you're the last one to put your thoughts into the realm. Who wins the series? Go live and tell the people.
I think the Heat win in 6 games.
Tommy LaStella leadoff home run, by the way.
It would, by the way, it would be helpful if I knew how many games Al Horford was going to be out for.
That would be very useful, wouldn't it? But also, he could be out for the entire series if he's sick.
So the thing about him is he's been ruled. He's been ruled out for 2 games. It doesn't mean he can't miss more than 2.
Where can I find the George Scratch segment on YouTube? Did you look for that the entire time? Oh my God, just play it. Go ahead. Why not? Just play it.
Well, I think it's because he doesn't know how.
Might as well. He can learn. That's what this is for. This can be experimentation at the same time.
Crashes.
Oh, that'll be okay. We'll be all right.
Smash
the like button. Medulla oblongata. Tizad. I liked reading that. It's always fun to read. Use the money. Don't be cheap. Well, it's okay. Gotcha. Good call.
Oh, that's
won't show it.
This is why we let Jordan Klein produce.
Jordan Klein, the big bucks. But anyway,
sharp when it comes to that Jordan.
Abel Ramos, $1.99. Where can we find the George Scratched moment on YouTube? In chat. Posted by Jordan Klein.
Let's plug something that I like to plug. You go follow at Jordan.
Words, Greg.
But I mean that
plug something ways. That I want to plug.
Yeah, Jordan Klein. What's wrong with that? We all have good relationships around here. So in terms of Jordan, are you Jordan B. Klein or Jordan D. Klein on Twitter? Jordan
Incline.
All right. So you guys go follow at Jordan D. Klein on Twitter, and he's going to post this Paul George clip, and that's where you find it.
Yeah, it's posted in chat too. That works.
Yeah, but he's going to post it on Twitter because we're gonna push Jordan's Twitter. People always want to know what Jordan posts on Twitter that's of value. I'm trying to give him content that's of value.
All right, first bucket of the game. Everybody loves those first bucket props. Grant Williams for 3, carrying it over. Grant Williams, let's go. I need over 14 fantasy points on PrizePicks today.
No,
over 14.
Is that what
that was the number before it got changed?
Okay.
And then 18.5 I was still in love with.
By the way, would be the funniest possible scenario for me is if the Celtics win this game and then lose the series. So I lose my bet on the Heat with the closing line value, and then I still lose the series bet because the Heat win anyway. That would be the worst case scenario for me.
5-0 shooting foul.
Hey, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm
Robert Williams.
One thing, I don't know what I guess for long term, it makes more sense for me to root for the Celtics here, but I'm conflicted.
Well, at the same time,
the light and the dark side, doing a battle inside me. What would you be rooting for if you were me?
I would be rooting for the Celtics,
even though I bet the Heat on this game.
But relative to it, I mean, yeah. Well, if you want to live in a perfect world, you want the Heat to win this one, and then you want them to lose the series.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But realistically, for this game, I don't know what's optimal for me. Also, if I just want a front run, I'll say I'm rooting for the Celtics because they're up 7-0 right now. That's more fun.
Robert Williams just stuffed Gabe Vincent. This is going to be beautiful.
Robert Williams.
I couldn't.
Oh my God, that's where your best friend's going to change his Twitter account to after this game's over.
Robert. Oh, I see what you did there. Jordan Klein, that was also kind of geared towards you. Shout out, Wob. Good people. You're watching the YouTube Paul George clip. Are you trying to clip this? Is that all you've been doing for 15 minutes? That's all you've been doing is trying to get the perfect clip for it. Whatever. He's recording it.
It's so easy to clip stuff. Just pull it up on your phone, record it. And then, okay. All right,
our director of technology and YouTube over there doing a great job keeping us entertained. But are you not entertained? Celtics 7-0 here. Jimmy Butler can't buy a bucket. Jimmy not buckets. Jimmy Crackboard.
Apparently not a 3-point shooter. Oh, here's something I'm curious about because you had brought up earlier that segment where Stephen A. Smith called Jimmy Butler a good shooter. Mm-hmm. What is he shooting from 3 in the playoffs?
It's a good question because I would assume it's better than what he did during the regular season. It's impossible for him to possibly be worse. I'm going to base this off his career average. So his career average is 32.1%. I'll say he's shooting like 34%.
36.4.
Okay. So I similar to like you using our ownership to be able to go back and kind of like gauge where the ownership's going to lie. I just thought I would use his career average and go a little bit over it.
Here's something that is interesting. So he shot outrageously well in the series against the Hawks. What did you say his career 3-point shooting percentage is?
32.1%.
In the series against the 76ers, he shot 32.5%. So pretty in line with his career average.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense. Robert Williams leading the slate in points. Let's go.
Yes.
Oh, give me all of that you got. Inject it straight into my veins. And also, what is going on here? Taylor Ward, home run. Chicago Cubs up 5-0. Is Pittsburgh ever going to score a run again, ever?
Taylor, you know what I thought was really funny? You played baseball on Fanduel tonight, correct?
Yeah, big time.
Did you notice who the most expensive player was?
4,600 Taylor Ward. Yeah, I did. I have a lot of him too.
Oh my God.
I played so much Caprillion, and I just played Judge. I played him. I played Alvarez. I played Tucker. I played like every expensive outfielder, not on the Giants. That was my path to winning today, I hope.
Oh, and so this is so funny to me. So I had made Angel stacks today. I was like, I'll play Taylor Ward. He's going to be somewhat contrarian because he's so expensive. Taylor Ward's popular at 4,600.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. I just pulled up. He is 16% owned in the $55.
Okay, I matched the $4.44. I didn't play the $7.77.
In the $44 on FanDuel, he's 16% owned. In the let's see, I'm trying to.
That is insanity.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
What? Also, Aaron Judge is 36%. I had like 25%. I'm under the field. That's cool.
Yeah, so
very popular. But you know what? Everything's okay considering Kyle Tucker's 6.2%, and I have 42% of him. So that'll be okay.
Yeah, PJ Tucker's on the board. Made a bucket.
Oh, take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. West Virginia.
PJ Tucker captain, no doubt. By the way, if I don't win today, I hope it's a PJ Tucker captain lineup because that'd be hilarious.
Kind of what I'm hoping for too.
Yeah.
Guys, smash the like button too. We're hanging out. We've got the truthers here. If you're still kicking it here with Greg and myself on a 1-game slate, talking through everything going on for this game and this game alone, smash that like button. We're catching up in the MLB streets. We're talking NBA draft. We're talking the fact that Miami is finally scoring points here. What is it? 7-4 right now. Boston's up. And now from 3, Jaylen Brown knocks it down. 10-4 Celtics. My God. You're going to be a man torn today.
I usually am, but I really don't know. I feel like I'm hedged fairly well for right now. The Celtics win the series, right? First and foremost, let's get Boston win the series. Much better than the stupid Heat team.
It's probably the right way to look at it. I need Taylor Hearn to pitch well. Why is he in my best lineup? What? Oh, no. That a mistake has been made. I didn't think he was in my pool.
I didn't think he was a terrible play on the base, but the pitching was so terrible today.
Yeah,
I was hoping we would get Giolito added in just because it'd be like, oh, that would give us a viable pitcher. But other than that, the pitching options were just absolute garbage today. Well, I didn't play Reed Detmers, and it looks like he might strike out 1 million guys today, which I didn't expect.
3 strikeouts, 2 innings, but just 1 earned. We're doing all right. But you're not in a ton of trouble yet.
But he's only thrown 29 pitches.
It's problematic. Guy just threw a no-hitter. I always feel weird when they fall in like perfect spots. It's like throws a no-hitter, then he gets to face Texas next. That's kind of unfair, especially when most lethal hitter Corey Seager by far left on left.
Who does Hunter Green pitch against next? Because I
love
wait
him
to
so
stack.
much.
But I can't wait to stack against him his next start.
I don't know if he'll be that popular. That's the problem. Like it just.
But it's not about whether
it's
not about whether he's popular or not. It's the fact that he just threw a ton of pitches because the Reds just left him out there to be exact. And he was totally gassed at the end. Like he was nowhere near the strike zone. He was holding his arm and shaking it out after every single pitch. And I was like, well, this can't be good for Hunter Green for the long run because he looked very uncomfortable in that last inning. And then they took him out. They got the no-hitter, but lost the game.
They're going to rest him till Saturday, it looks like. So he's playing the Blue Jays on Saturday. So good luck having that be contrarian.
Load up on Toronto.
It's a 12:07 start time, my time. So I don't think it'll be on any prominent slate.
Disappointing.
It's kind of a bummer. Ship my money in first place on the big showdown slate. Awesemo Army. Yeah. That's going to change. I'm going to throw that out.
Oh my God. With that attitude, it will.
Yeah,
well, absolutely not. Oh my God, no, it's changed. Alex is in first place now.
Oh, well, there we go. I'd be cool with that. Going to be a really, really fun sweat. Jason Tatum, 6-2-1. Should have just played all the Jason Tatum and all the land. If you had told me he would be 17%, this is why you play the games, Greg. This is why you play the games.
I did say he was my favorite captain play.
You did.
On the,
and yet
by the way,
I'm somehow just at 15% on him, which is just egregious to be under the field of 17%.
I have bad news for us. Max Strus picks up his second personal foul. Is this going to be a Victor Oladipo night now?
Oh, no. Well, actually, here's the thing. We didn't play him, and now Victor Oladipo hit the floor and not play well. That's kind of what we're hoping.
To an extent, but now if you're telling me Victor Oladipo has to come in early, then I think there's an opportunity. Now, with that said, Strus did not check out immediately, although there was a timeout called, so maybe he'll come out here. Who do we think checks? Do we think Oladipo checks in, or does Strus stay in the game?
I think Strus is going to play through it. I think coming out of this timeout, maybe not, because it's at the 7-minute mark. Maybe he comes out for a little bit here, but relax on Tatum. He's got 6-2-1, and it's freaking Jason Tatum. I think it's pretty safe to say he's off to a fantastic start. I also, when choosing between my players having great starts and bad starts, I would prefer my guys to have great starts. So if you rostered a ton of him, sweet. Anthony Rendon just hit up a homer on Taylor Hearn. So bye-bye to that lineup. I was in third, and now it is no more.
Really, you want your guy, repeat that again, because this seems groundbreaking to me. You want your guys to start well and not poorly? Explain.
So here's the thing. I know that there's a lot of Twitter advocates that say, you know what, especially when it comes to betting, you want your teams, you want your favorites to go down early so that you can get a better line on them. But in DFS, here's the thing. I want my players to get off to good starts. So it's a little counterintuitive, because I would prefer that they played well as opposed to poorly, because I want them to accumulate a lot of fantasy points as opposed to not accumulate a lot of fantasy points. Does that make sense?
I'm almost following. I kind of get the idea, but
yeah.
All right. So let's say you have a lot of Jason Tatum.
Yes.
It's the first quarter. He
Yes.
shoots a 3.
Yes.
You want him to miss, right?
I don't think I do.
I guess I'm not following that.
Okay. Yeah, it's confusing, but we'll talk about it after
whatever.
the show. That's for sure. Jeffrey Phelan. Yeah, me too. However, you're 5 minutes into the game. We're kind of trolling ourselves, but we're trolling somebody else, and it's fun to do. It will never not be fun to do.
My enemy. You know, he responded to me.
I saw that and got like a I'm not even gonna. I don't even want to say it out loud. It's fine. It's whatever.
I want to
When
see what
people,
happens out of this timeout now, and if Oladipo checks in. Do you regret not playing Oladipo now?
Do I regret not playing Oladipo?
I'm not. Regret isn't the right word. Do you wish you would have had exposure to Oladipo now, knowing that Max Strus has 2 personal fouls 5 minutes into the game?
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to play that game. Also, Victor Oladipo, I don't know. He's just not very good. I'm still on the hill.
Okay. By the way, we're idiots. Tyler Hero checked in. I don't know why we didn't. Just assume Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Why do we not just assume Tyler Hero would check in and play?
I just want. We got to go to. Yeah. We'll talk about that after the show here too. We'll see what we can do. There's places where we can invest and make stuff happen there. But shout out PrizePicks. Use promo code Awesemo. Take advantage of that $100 first match deposit bonus. Plus, you're going to get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. It's not going to get any better than that. Also, go to @JordanD Klein, not Jordan Incline, but Jordan D Klein, and go follow, because he just posted the Paul George clip of me. I don't know if I've seen this for years. It's been a long time. Once in a while, people would send it to me like in the months after, but it's been a long time, but yet everybody brings it up all the time. So go to Jordan D Klein on twitter.com. Go to @Ehrenberg DFS. I'm sure he'll retweet it here at the same time, because people like watching me squirm. That's kind of the way that this works, but we're going to squirm our way on out of here. Just like there's no joke to be made there. Greg, any final words for the people as we get out of here?
Go to Twitter, follow @Jordan D Klein. I just retweeted it, and watch Eric, because this is one of these situations too. So I know that we're just going back and forth. We're trying to figure out, do you want your guy to play well in the first quarter or not? Because, who knows? It's up for debate whether you want your guys to score fantasy points or not. But here's one thing you definitely don't want to happen. You don't want them to get scratched before the game starts. And this has happened to Eric on occasion. If you guys want to see his reaction, go follow @Jordan D Klein on Twitter and check it out. I just retweeted it as well.
I'm just sad. I'm like watching this, but I'm also I can't watch. It's like a train
All
wreck.
right.
You can't look away. Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you so much, Greg. I'm Eric Lindquist. Thank you to PrizePicks. Go Heat for tonight, but go Celtics for the series. For Greg Ehrenberg. See you guys later.